Hey guys, Jaydreamer55 here. It's been a while since you've heard that, hasn't it? Like seriously, the last time I said that intro was back in Project Askos. But anyway, today I'm here to introduce you to a brand new Pokemon project that I've been working on for a while now in the background, whilst working on other projects such as Crystal Desires or the Show the Stars coming up. Quarantine has been both a blessing and a curse towards me, so I'd like to begin the very first preview into my new Pokemon project named Project Frivo. Once again, as a reminder, this series and Askos were inspired by Mr. Buddy's What If Pokemon regions, where he details the stories that would take place in a certain country in the world if it was translated into the format of a Pokemon game. So for my second delve into this format, I'd like to do the same thing with New Zealand. Now some of you may be wondering, what the hell is Project Askos? Well, in summary, Project Askos was the previous Pokemon project I did on my channel, based around Romania and its culture. I'd recommend that you watch that series either before or after Frivo, as this project serves as a prequel to that story. So if anything I say here confuses you, please go and check out Project Askos. Your query will probably be answered there, and if not, drop me a comment. Alright, now that that's all over with, I can finally move on to the video. But before that, I need to give a few disclaimers. Number 1. This video isn't theorizing on upcoming Pokemon games like the eventual Diamond and Pearl remakes or Generation 9. I think I've hinted enough already that I want Gen 4 remakes, Game Freak. Any news is better than no news. I mean, it's not like I could even play them since I don't have a Switch yet. Anyway, if there is a future game that's based off New Zealand, or if Mr. Buddy himself makes a region based around it, just know that it's definitely a coincidence, but I might cry if it becomes a thing. Number 2. On the topic of the Buddyverse, I need to clear some things up. The Askos and Frivo regions, as well as any other regions I might make in the future, are not part of the Buddyverse and exist inside of their own world separate from it, which we'll call the Askosverse for now. The only way in which these worlds collide is inside of the RP server, which in the context of the Askosverse counts as a crossover AU. Said RP has questionable canonical meaning to this story. Number 3. Again, I am very bad at pronouncing words, and Maori and Hawaiian are even worse than Romanian. Like, go why. That's probably inaccurate. Point being, I'm using Google Translate for this, so I'm going to end up pronouncing something wrong during this video. Please forgive me. Number 4. Please support all of the great voice actors which are helping me out with this project. Once they appear during the story and characters section, their names and links to their social media will be in the description for you to check out, as well as their names being displayed in the credits. Yeah, the VAs, which I've definitely hired as of this video. Have you gotten that yet, future me? Future me? You got the VAs, right, future me? I think that about covers it for the intro. We've got a lot to talk about here, such as a corporation which wants to better the lives of everyone, to a mythical Pokemon that discovered this region in the first place. So it's finally time to delve into my new Pokemon project on the channel, Project Frivo. Hey guys, Geography Teacher CD55 here. Wow, it's been a while since I've made that joke. How about instead of attending your online geography class, you join this instead, and have way more fun while doing so. I'd like to believe I try my best to make this section interesting, so here goes nothing. New Zealand is an island country in the Pacific Ocean. Wait, Pacific? It's the Pacific, you think. New Zealand is an island country in the Pacific Ocean, and is made up of 2 landmasses, the North Island and the South Island, alongside around 600 smaller islands surrounding them. One island of questionable worth is called Disappointment Island, and yes, that's actually a thing. Imagine traveling the islands on a ship and finding this random rock, and being so disappointed that you call it Disappointment Island. Don't worry, Disappointment Island, you'll always be important in my eyes. This derailed very quickly. Anyway, New Zealand is friends with Big Boy Australia across the sea, and it was the last habitable land to be settled by humans. That's a fun fact. New Zealand has a diverse amount of animal, fungal, and plant life due to how it's been devoid of human life for such a long time, and it's full of many mountains and volcanoes. New Zealand is part of Australasia and forms the southwestern extremity of the Polynesia region. Oh yeah, I'm using Wikipedia as my source again. I still don't understand what's so wrong with it. This website is free, people. Free things are good things, right? Anyway, the South Island is the largest of the 2 main islands and contains around 18 peaks which are taller than 3,000 meters. It's divided along its length by the Southern Alps, and the highest of these mountains is Mount Cook at 3,724 meters. The North Island is less mountainous but is marked by many volcanoes, amongst the highly active Taupo volcanic zone, which contains one of the world's most active supervolcanoes. You know, whilst I was researching, I found out that the active supervolcano last erupted, oh, I don't know, 1 million years ago? That's not exactly active, is it now? New Zealand's climate ranges from an average 10 degrees Celsius in the south to 16 degrees Celsius in the north. Historically, the highest and lowest temperatures that New Zealand has had is tops 42 degrees to the lowest minus 25 degrees. Wow, this climate is pretty normal in comparison to England's. It's not like Romania's summers where I would literally melt if I went there. New Zealand sounds a lot nicer. Before humans arrived in the country, about 80% of the land was purely forests, with only the high alpine, wet, infertile and volcanic areas not having any trees. But nowadays, due to logging or clearing, that number has gone down to 23%. Kind of sad. But the good news is that conservationists are creating efforts to help threatened wildlife recover, creating lots of nature reserves and sanctuaries. Yay! This has probably given you a good overview of the geography and environments of the region by now. So let's move on to what pre-existing Pokemon could live in each of these environments. It's worth noting again that not all of these Pokemon parallel the wildlife of Frivo's basis, as I tried to add whatever I thought would fit. Oh, and as an extra point, some familiar faces might show up in this section, as some of the Fakemon I created for the Askos region are also going to exist here. First up, the forest could harbour Pokemon such as the Sunkern line, the Morolol line, the Ekans line, the Dewpider and Joltik lines, the Krogunk line, Heracross, Pinsir and Cypher, the Cutiefly and Nincada lines, the Venipede and Sphearpa lines, the Gossifleur line, the Bellsprout line, the Execute and Pineco lines, Carnivine, the Slakoth line, Komala, the Flybaby line, and the Igniral, Terraseed and Treebat lines. Next up in the mountain areas, there would be the Natu and Chingling lines, the Dealing and Akshu lines, the Mudbray and Swinub lines, the Teddy Ursa line, the Woobat and Smoochum lines, the Helioptile line, the Riolu line, the Dwebble line, and the Pressy Snake line. In the plains areas, you would find the Mareep line, the Siskit line, the Goomy line, the Shellos and Wingle lines, the Puchiana line, the Swinub line, the Baneri and Purloin lines, and the Camouse and Estraby lines. Next up, in the volcanic areas, there would be the Sandile and Salandit lines, Torkoal, the Darumaka and Skorupi lines, the Blitzel line, Solrock and Lunatone, the Nummel line, the Slugma line, and the Shuppet and Duskull lines. Finally, in the water areas, there would be the Chutal and Timpole lines, the Clauncher line, the Krabby and Corfish lines, the Barbooch and Whalemare lines, Wishy-Washy, the Clobberpuss and Shelder lines, the Whipple line, the Kavana line, the Finneon line, and the Orca-Blubbler and Finbone lines. Alright, that was an overview of the pre-existing Pokemon and Fakemon that would exist inside of the Frivo region. Obviously, I couldn't list all of the Pokemon that would fit in these environments, because my throat gets dry real easily, but I think these select few give a brief enough idea. Next up on our list is the towns and locations that are part of this brand new region. New Zealand has a lot of places to take inspiration from, so sit back as I give you a tour through the Frivo region. We'll be following this map in the order you would visit it in your playthrough of the game, so just think of this as a short summary of the story which I'll explain later in greater detail. So with that out the way, let's explore the region! And hey, while we're at it, I'll go ahead and say that the naming scheme of the towns and locations are based off the flora and fauna native to New Zealand. See if you can guess them all. You start your journey on Stewart Island, a large island off the coast of the South Island inside of Flaxtown, which is based on Oban. This humble little fishing town would be a popular tourist destination for people from the city, so an important place of notice would be a ferry terminal which goes to several places in the Frivo region. There would also be a lighthouse to help guide ships through the night, a fishing pier where many local fishermen gather, as well as a popular restaurant that is on the go-to on many people's vacation lists, due to its reputation of being run by one of the gym leaders. As you finish exploring this bustling community, you receive your starter Pokemon from the Professor and board the ferry towards Ratatown, based on Invercargill. Here is where the Pokemon Research Lab is situated, and you go inside to receive your Pokedex. But after that, you're able to view some Rhyhorn racing on a nearby racetrack, as well as take a stroll around a park based on Queen's Park. After collecting your first gym badge from the gym here, you're asked to deliver a letter to the gym leader in the next town, Margu Town, based on Dunedin. Here you will be able to explore an old castle based on Larnaca Castle, as well as the Botanic Garden around the back of the castle, and in both places there would be lots of trainers to fight and items to pick up. At the end of the castle you would find the gym leader and deliver the letter, and you make your way into their gym to retrieve your second gym badge. After the letter is received, you make your way back towards Ratatown and make your way through the dense forest before arriving in Heber City, based upon Queenstown. Here is where the Pokemon daycare would be, as well as several sights to see based upon Gillies Point and Kawaru Falls. There would also be some golfing turf here, where you can borrow some equipment and battle some trainers along the way. Before you make your way towards your next destination, however, you're met with an amazing sight, the Syrah Nature Reserve, based upon Mount Aspiring National Park. There would be an array of different Pokemon and people for you to encounter here, but you would also have your first encounter with some visored individuals too. After exploring the nature reserve, you'll make your way into Syrah Town, based on Timaru. Here there would be a wildlife observatory which you can watch many Kiwi-inspired Fakemon play in their natural habitats, a museum full of ancient rock art depicting Frivo's history, a decorative garden full of roses, and some warehouses in the outskirts of town filled with many machine parts, including the items necessary to change Rotom's form. After collecting your third gym badge here, you can travel towards Gentian City, which is based upon Christchurch. Here is where you will be able to ride some gondolas for fun, as well as look around a museum dedicated to displaying the history of other regions, which currently has an exhibit based around a region called Amherg. There would also be a prestigious Pokemon school here based off the University of Canterbury, where you will be able to learn many advanced battle tricks and tips from the best of the best, and even test them out in battle against the strong trainers taking classes there. After exploring the city, you can travel towards Salem City, based upon Nelson. Here is where you can obtain the bicycle, and where you would stay a night outdoors in your very own tent at the nearby campsite. There would also be a trail you can climb here, which takes you to an amazing viewpoint, as well as to a monument claiming itself to be the center of the Frivo region. After collecting your 4th gym badge, you are finally able to cross the sea over into the North Island, where many different Pokemon that couldn't be found in the South can be found. The first location that you stumble upon in the north is the capital, Cowhigh City, based upon Wellington. This city would be a stark contrast from the ones you visited before, and at the center would stand the headquarters for the leading tech company in Frivo, Cyber Labs. Despite the bustling nature of the city, there would still be a cable car that takes you up a mountain, where you can see the entire city from, and also view a monument dedicated to the settlers of Frivo. As you grab your 5th gym badge from the guy who runs Cyber Labs, you make your way towards Nakuna City, based upon Palmerston North. Here there would be a cathedral that contains lots of ghost-type Pokemon, a large park based upon the Victoria Esplanade, as well as having the option to walk down the riverside and encounter many people and trainers to battle and talk to. After challenging the chocolate-obsessed gym leader here, and receiving your 6th badge, you enter Callist City based upon New Plymouth, where you would find a grand bridge you have to cross based off the Rara Bridge, before entering the city, where there would be a clock tower at the center of town dedicated towards a folk hero, as well as a police station where you could find out about suspicious activity that has been happening in the region lately. After learning of a suspicious individual who is headed towards the nearby volcano, based on Mount Taranaki, you take a hike up there and put a stop to the mysterious trainer's plans. After dealing with that, you can go into Karaka Town based upon Torpo. Here there would be some hot springs heated by the nearby volcano, as well as an ancient rock carving down near the beach displaying an important historic event in Frivo's history. There would also be some waterfalls where you could talk to your rivals and learn a little bit more about them. After beating the gym here and receiving your 7th gym badge, you travel into Myoso City based upon Hamilton, but not before you're dragged over to a press conference ran by Cyber Labs, where they reveal their new invention to the crowd. However, you feel uncertain of their intentions, so you travel towards their headquarters once more to find the truth behind what they say. Here you would find one of the legendaries which has been captured by them for their own purposes, and after freeing it, you would have to fight their leader in a battle. After they're defeated and the day is saved, you are able to go back into Myoso City, where you would find a large shopping mall where you can buy lots of items, a sizable lake where you can fish up some rare Pokemon, and also the game corner, where you would be able to play a version of poker in return for grand prizes. And you would eventually have a match against a hooded trainer who reveals themselves to be... well, that's spoilers. But after having a poker match against this mystery trainer, you would fight the final gym leader here, before you head back towards the Pokemon Research Lab to receive an important message from the professor. Now, here's where I explain that in Frivo, there isn't a Pokemon League in the traditional sense. Instead, you must travel around the region in search of 4 important trainers which you must defeat. Once this pseudo-Elite Four is defeated, they all give you a special medallion, which you must take up Mount Taranaki, where at the top you would be able to summon and fight the legendary Pokemon as the final test of your abilities as a trainer. Or at least that's what I'm going to make you believe for now. During the postgame, there would be an important side quest which would take you several places around the region to tighten up any loose ends that may have been left during the main story, as well as being able to capture the other legendary. You would also be able to traverse the Northern Peninsula here and face a powerful trainer at the end as the secret final boss. Okay, now that's the towns and locations section done and accounted for. Of course, this was just a brief overview of the locations that would exist inside of the Frivo region, but that's only because I want to leave the rest of the story as a mystery for now. But I hope you still enjoyed learning about the important landmarks and locations which I've researched to take inspiration for Frivo from. And on today's agenda, I finally get to present to you all of the brand new Fakemon that I've made to fit inside of this region. Now, unlike in Askos where the Pokemon were grouped up in their explanations, this time I'm going to go in Pokédex order, as well as giving a little bit more description to the Fakemon than last time. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's start with the starters, your very first Pokemon partners that you'll encounter. The Fire-type starters, Sulpion, and its evolutions Scorindle and Sculpbaru. This little scorpion is well known as a vermin around the Frivo region, and it has a fiery determination burning inside of it, wanting to challenge anyone that crosses its path to prove its strength, even if said person or Pokemon doesn't want to battle. However, Salpian has become a starter Pokemon so that it can finally fuel its battling spirit in a healthy environment, under the watchful eye of a trainer. The Water-type starter, Gowai, and its evolutions, Flurrycorn and Capriawa. This sea goat loves to swim around in the current and play with any Pokemon that it meets, which has led to it having some not-so-joyful encounters with Pokemon who aren't so open to playing with it. Once it evolves, it becomes blindingly loyal to its friends, and will defend them and its trainer with its life. And finally, the Grass-type starters, Floram, and its evolutions, Forestool and Ariora. Floram is a very kind and forgiving Pokemon, and doesn't become angered easily by those who mess with it. However, as it evolves, it becomes not as carefree, as it decides to stand up for itself against attackers and fight them off, instead of just letting it happen. Now to introduce you to one of the original birds, Salrobin. Salrobin lives in the forest alongside its flock, and never separates from them until it evolves into the ice-flying type Robifrost and Winterin, where it comes of age and flies to colder climates. These Pokemon are very social, and it's rare to see them not in a group, and these groups can harbour up to 20 different members of its species. Next up, the original rodent of Frivo, the normal type Joysum. This Pokemon is never seen without a smile on its face, and it loves to entertain. And once it evolves and gains the ghost type, Jestossim, it becomes quite the trickster, as it uses its performances as a distraction for its heinous acts, such as if it was to steal an item from unsuspecting people. But just know that it's all in good fun, as Jestossim will return the stolen item if asked politely. Kitsute and Tuxlion, the stuck-up fairy-type cat Pokemon. These cats have very high standards, and turn up their nose at any Pokemon that they see as lower than them. These Pokemon like to imitate human behaviour as they look up to them for guidance a lot, so it is possible to train a Kitsute out of its self-absorbed attitude with the right trainer. But most of the time these Pokemon are seen around humans who encourage its behaviour. Poipuppy and Kanoizen, the poison-type dogs. These Pokemon love to play with people and get very excitable, but sadly they're usually avoided due to how their excitement makes them secrete poisonous fluid all over the person they're trying to play with. But this Pokemon would be the perfect partner for a trainer who doesn't mind getting covered in poisonous slobber from time to time. Now for the first regional variant I'm going to introduce, Frivocian, Aipom and Ambipom, who are now dark types. These Aipom have picked up on antisocial behaviour, and have become tricksters who love to mess with and bully other Pokemon. A lot of Frivocian Aipoms are seen hanging around delinquent gangs, and have an affinity for drawing graffiti on walls alongside their trainer. The next variant is Frivocian Kricketot and Kricketune, who have gained the Steel type. Due to humans' music interests changing, these musical bugs have adapted to play metal music. Literally, because they're Steel types now. Anyway, Frivocian Kricketune can make a multitude of sounds that mimic an electric guitar or violin, and its metal sound or screech attacks are even more painful to listen to. Back to the Fakemon for a bit, we have the regional bugs, the Bug Fairy, Wordjewel, Larbulb, and Glamantis. These Pokemon love shiny things, and are easily attracted to them, and then they will fashion their nests out of the objects it collects. Although this has led to very persistent Glamantis refusing to give back what it stole from unsuspecting humans, due to how it doesn't understand that stealing is wrong. But the right trainer would be able to give it all the shiny things it deserves, as well as teach it a few manners. Next up we have Flambat and Obsidiwing, fire flying types. These bats are able to light the way through dark caves for humans, and love to be of assistance to them. They're able to breathe fire to deter oncoming attackers, as well as to cook any berries it finds to enhance their taste. It's very gluttonous, and won't hesitate to go for your food if you present it with some, so it's advised to maybe not have a picnic near a nest of Flambats. Next, Kiwi-Jug and Starsprint, grass flying type Pokemon. These Pokemon mimic the native fruit of Frivo as a form of camouflage, as a Kiwi-Jug looks nearly identical to an actual kiwi fruit when curled up into a ball. Due to this, people who can't tell the difference have learnt from their mistake, as Kiwi-Jug has a vicious bite to prevent it from being eaten. And once it evolves into Starsprint, it's able to run away from attackers at blindingly fast speeds. Turbrav and Psyquaver, Water and Water Ghost. Turbrav loves to sing songs and hum to itself, and is able to mimic music that is played for it, so a lot of trainers keep one on their team for moral support. However, if the Turbrav is exposed to the sound of its own voice for too long, it will evolve into Psyquaver, who is able to hypnotize prey into the ocean with its enchanting song, where it's able to drown them. Turbreath have reached a high popularity due to how it's usually used as a mascot for bands and music groups. Jolt's Honey, normal electric, and Frivo's resident Pikachu clone. This energetic bunny's electricity is produced by its ears, which it uses in some of its attacks to strike the foe with an electric shock. But despite it being cute, I'd advise you don't hug it, as it really doesn't like being held by strangers and will most definitely zap you. Now back onto the regional variants, I'm going to present two at once, with Frivocian Zangoose and Frivocian Seviper, with Zangoose now having the Ghost type and Seviper now having the Dragon type. Both of these Pokemon were created by a science experiment, but in Zangoose's case the experiment went horribly wrong, making its existence a paradox due to its normal Ghost typing, but is able to change form to become a pure Ghost type. Whereas Seviper's experiment was successful, gaining bright colours to warn other Pokemon of its poisonous nature. Strangely, these two Pokemon don't hate each other like regular Zangoose and Seviper. Instead, they seem to be in a truce against a common enemy, the ones who made them this way in the first place. Now back to the Fakemon, we have Salrobin's northern sister, Norrobin. This bird differs a lot from her southern brother, as Norrobin prefers to work alone, as well as how they evolve into the steel flying type Robipass and Navibin. These Pokemon are experts at directions, and if asked, they can guide their trainers towards their destinations when lost, so these Pokemon are usually used in search and rescue teams. Navibin quickly moves from partner to partner, never staying with the same one for long, which has left the more group-orientated Winterin heartbroken from time to time. Zapole, Voltrog, and Dolphicity, water-electric types. Zapole are born in shallow water, and they have both lungs and gills so they can traverse on land to find a place to settle down, where they then evolve into Voltrog. Voltrog then train themselves diligently, heading towards the sea, where they spend the rest of their lives as Dolphicity. This cycle is a popular subject which is taught in Frivo schools, to show how life always finds a way, and how Pokemon adapt to their surroundings very quickly. Another variant now with the Psychic Grass type Frivocian Yanma and Yanmega. These creatures live deep in Frivo's jungles, and use their psychic abilities to sense the location of oncoming attackers, before defending itself with powerful gusts of wind. Yanmega are usually surrounded by several Yanma, who protect their leader from any threats as Yanmega itself doesn't fight very much, becoming a lot more relaxed. However, if a Yanmega is pressured into a fight, its power is sure to overwhelm anything that dares to disturb it. Charegal, the rock-flying gargoyle Pokemon, which doesn't evolve. Charegal itself is a very quiet and unmoving Pokemon, only opening its eyes to check for incoming attackers, and it's a benevolent king who looks out for its subjects. Many trainers use them as a role model for their misbehaving Pokemon. Charegal is kind and forgiving, unless someone steals the crown from atop its head. Then it will go into a fury and will do anything to get it back from the thief. This behavior sounds oddly familiar. Oh well, I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Next we have Kakanga and Buckjaroo, fighting and fighting ground. These kangaroos are born fighters and use their arms and legs to deliver powerful blows to its opponents. They love to undergo rigorous training to hone their skills, and become furious when interrupted, which has caused a lot of innocent bystanders a kick to the head. But with the right trainer, these Pokemon can sharpen their skills to their full potential. Now time for a familiar face, Philibub. As I mentioned previously in Project Askos, Philibub originates from Frivo, and it can be encountered in the tall grass like any other Pokemon. This little fellow loves to explore new places, and its abilities to produce light are what made it rise to mythical status inside of the Askos region. However, inside of Frivo, Philibub has a new evolution enabled by a piece of technology called the Cyber Disc, which allows it to evolve into Lightnabub. His evolved form has heightened abilities and strength, as well as serving as its trainer's sole protector, which makes it a great companion to any fledgling trainer. Next up we have Spard and Frizzorchid, Grass and Ice type. These Pokemon are born without the crystals on their back, and so whilst their parents use their ice powers to create them, seeds may get stuck inside the forming crystal, which has caused them to gain the Grass type over the years. And as it evolves, it's able to fully tap into the powers the seed harbours as it begins to sprout, and it uses the roots to deliver power whips to any incoming attackers. Turtis and Torqueen, Bug Fairy. These tortoises are very generous and won't hesitate to lend a helping hand to Pokemon in need, acting rather motherly towards them. It isn't rare to see a Torqueen who has adopted a completely different Pokemon species into its family, as it loves to take care of babies who are abandoned by their parents. But if anything happens to endanger its children, you'll be faced with a vicious, unrelenting Pokemon until you back off. Truffsnout and Chocobore, Ground type. These Pokemon love sweet treats so much that they've adapted to become more like them. They use their own sweet scent to lure in prey before smothering them in a sticky chocolate-like substance. Chocobo chocolate is a popular treat inside of the Frivo region, and it tastes amazing when mixed with all creamy cream, and it's used in all sorts of sweet treats. Now back onto the regional variants, we have the regional nightmare fuel, Revolution, Chinchou, and Lantern. Allegedly, there was an oil spill a few years ago, which ended up infecting the nearby population of Chinchou. However, instead of them perishing, they consumed the poisonous oil, turning them into dark types with a lust for eating trash. The good news is that the oceans have got a lot cleaner since then, but the bad news is that these corrupted fish have taken a liking to terrorizing other Pokemon, and ruling over the seas in fear, even daring to challenge Pokemon like Sharpedo, so they can fuel their unhealthy obsession with literal junk food. Next, some not-so-familiar faces, and the final regional variants, in Introversion with Smoke and Insowitch. Yes, I gave my own Fakemon regional variants. Mr. Buddy did it, so I can too. The Frivosian forms of these Askos-born Pokemon have learnt how to wield fire, and use their old incense sticks to aid in its new pyromancy abilities. These abilities have been honed and passed down from generation to generation, and sometimes Insowitch will bestow their knowledge upon other fire-type Pokemon. Back to the Fakemon, we have Phytunu, Zodua, and Plantre, water psychic types. These Pokemon start off quite simple-minded, only knowing their carnivorous instincts, and attack anything that gets in their range due to their eat-or-be-eaten attitude. But as they evolve, their brains become more complex, as they learn how to swim away from attackers with their nimble speed, and eventually developing their psychic powers to the maximum potential in their final evolution, where they're able to harness psychic powers through the pearl it carries, and it delivers powerful blows to their opponents. Blastiki and Blastak, fire ghost types. In Frivo's past, these Pokemon were usually decorated by humans to depict legendary Pokemon, and were worshipped during rituals. They were also used to keep the original setters of Frivo warm on stormy nights, and this translates to the modern day where some people still choose to use a Blastiki instead of a traditional fireplace. Although a Blastak usually comprises of 3 Blastiki, there has been a world record set for the highest amount of Blastiki stacked on top of one another, the current record being 64. P-Chrome, the unevolving fairy flying type. P-Chrome are rarely seen and are rumoured to only appear in front of those who are pure of heart. Unfortunately, P-Chrome's rarity is due to human intervention, as it used to be hunted down for its rainbow-coloured feathers by poachers, so the number of them has dwindled, leaving only the male population left. However, P-Chrome have become a protected species in the Frivo region, so any poachers are severely punished if they dare lay a finger on a P-Chrome. Wisspog and Spiritoad, ghost type. These frogs wear cloaks to conceal their identity, and are rumoured to have the ability to see spirits, and if its trust for its trainer is high enough, it will allow them to speak to said spirits. It's able to mimic human speech, although most of the time it comes out as a garbled mess, and it's also rumoured that these fellows might be related to the Zapple line, although there has barely been any studies surrounding this topic. Now, onto some new evolutions. Or should I say, evolutions? That's right! In Frivo, you can be introduced to Cybeon, the Steel-type evolution. Now, if you remember the Cyber Disc which allows Philibub to evolve, that same disc was originally used on Eevee as a test, giving Cybeon the same protective nature as Lightnabub would have in the future updates to the disc. Cybeon is a helpful assistant towards any trainer, and won't hesitate to point them in the right direction if they're in need of guidance. It can also project its force onto any nearby devices. Anyway, onto the fossils of the region, starting with Kydrop and Plyglide, water flying types. In the Frivo region, a lot more time and effort was put into restoring fossils of the past, which has shown its results in how the fossil Pokemon here don't have the rock typing like other fossils. Anyway, Plyglide in the past loved to glide along the surface of the ocean, playing in the waves with others of its kind, and nowadays its revived self just enjoys splashing around in any kind of water. The other fossil you can pick from is the steel ground-type Philodon and Anchitread. These brutes were brought by Frivo's settlers to help build houses and tow the crop fields, and were very kind and protective towards their masters despite their intimidating appearance. And nowadays they still try to be helpful. Helpful being an interesting word choice, as they get so excited that they end up destroying more than they create. And finally, we have the pseudo-legendary of the region, the fairy-flying Indmingo and Flamboyo, and the fairy-fighting Flamfeather. These flamingos are very flamboyant and love to show off their skills to attract a mate. Then they participate in dancing routines with their mates, which has also been translated into their battle style, as they dance around the opponent, landing blindingly fast strikes when they're distracted by the routine. And that's all the Pokédex done and accounted for. Man, that was a mouthful. but I hope you enjoyed seeing and learning about all the new Fakemon that I've...
The video isn't over yet, Verbena.
What? What do you mean the video's not over? Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the story and characters section?
Aren't you forgetting something?
Huh? Like what? Oh my god, I forgot the legendaries! Okay, give me a second. Alright, there we go. Now we can pretend like that never happened.
You do realize you forgot to turn the camera off, right?
And finally, we have the pseudo-legendary of the region, the fairy flying Indmingo and Flamboyo, and the fairy fighting Flamfeather. These flamingos are very flamboyant and love to show off their skills to attract a mate. Then they participate in dancing routines with their mates, which has also been translated into their battle style, as they dance around the opponent, landing blindingly fast strikes when they're distracted by the routine. Hey, why did I suddenly get hit by a wave of deja vu? Weird. Anyway, onto the legendaries. Tohawal, the fairy-type founder Pokemon. A long time ago, when the settlers of Frivo first started on their journey, there was a terrible storm, and the crew members ended up stranded on a desert island. But when they thought that all hope was lost, Tohawal appeared before them, and led them towards safer shores, which later became known as the Frivo region. Tohawal has become only a legend in the present, but makes an annual visit before a worthy trainer every year. Once they're able to gather all 8 gym badges and the 4 medallions, they may get a chance to meet with this legendary Pokemon and receive their judgment. And then we have Tohawal's parallel, Veniliz, the electric dragon-type Vendetta Pokemon. In legend, Veniliz was a creature corrupted by greed, who wanted to rule the Frivo region alone before Tohawal and the settlers came into its territory. There was a fearsome battle between Veniliz and Tohawal, but in the end, Tohawal was able to win. Now Veniliz lays dormant somewhere, waiting for the day where it can get revenge on the ones who invaded its home. And that's all the Pokedex done and accounted for. Man, that was a mouthful. I hope you enjoyed seeing and learning about all the new Fakemon that I've created for the region, and I hope you're looking forward to seeing the world in which they inhabit inside of the story and character section. This ain't the usual intro, you know. Wanna have a Frivo time then, let's go. Before we start, I've got to let you in on a little secret. Story and characters the next, but there's something you didn't expect. My singing skills are kinda equal. Hey, by the way, Frivo is a prequel. Hey guys, Jaydreamer55 here, and I hope you enjoyed that joke. I bet you thought that this was a Megalovania cover in disguise, didn't you? Anyway, as I sang before, it's time to move on to the story that I've written that would take place inside of this region. But before then, I'd like to give a quick message from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends! No, I'm kidding. This is a sponsored message from someone called the Zongu Research Labs. Throughout the Pokemon world, there's many places. Places filled with joy and wonder, happiness and excitement. But there's also places filled with dread, fear, disgust, and nervousness. Places where only the brave dare to venture. But despite all the good and bad in the world, there's always stood a region which never fails to shine through the darkness. The Frivo region. The Frivo region is teeming with Pokemon new and old, and is filled with friendly people who won't hesitate to lend a helping hand. Throughout the years, they've kept the past crystal clear in their memory, and never fail to remember their region's roots. And when they look in the mirror, the Frivosians see how imperfections make their lives beautiful. So, make a trip over to the Frivo region today, courtesy of Vera Travels. Start afresh in this beautiful region, where many friends and foes await you. Vera Travels, where your holiday is sure to be verifiably amazing. Sponsored by the Zongu Pokemon League.
Ugh, why do they even show this ad when I live in the Frivo region? And anyway, why they literally just advertise Zongu? There's way cooler places than that dump.
Player, breakfast will be ready in a few minutes.
Okay.
Player, do you remember what day it is today?
Yeah, Dad's coming to visit today.
That's right. And once he arrives here, you'll be receiving your very first starter Pokemon.
Yeah, okay. Wait, what? That was today?
Yes. It's your 15th birthday, so you get your starter Pokemon today.
Wow. I can't believe I forgot my own birthday.
Howdy, player. I just got off the ferry, so how about we meet in the restaurant? I can give you your birthday present there.
Okay, Dad. See you then.
Now, as before, like inside of Askos, this is where you, the player, start off your Pokemon journey. There's a male and female version of the player character named Basil and Rosemary respectively, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to be following the journey of Basil. So after the cutscene fades out, you're able to freely move around and explore your house, as well as finish your breakfast if you really want to, before your mother ushers you along.
Oh, by the way, player, don't forget your bag. You left it upstairs, remember?
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me.
You make your way upstairs to grab your traveling items and your ever so important bag, before noticing an open book on your desk.
No, hey, it's the book Dad bought me. I guess it won't hurt to read a chapter.
You pick up the book and begin to read. Over 50 years ago, our beautiful region was discovered by a group of travelers and their companion Tohowal. Legend says that in their time of desperation, Tohowal was born to become their protector, and led them towards brighter lands. The land they found eventually gained the name of Frivo.
I guess that's enough reading for now. Dad's waiting for me anyway.
You wave your mum goodbye and head outside into your hometown, where since it's the weekend, many tourists are walking along the streets, taking pictures of the sights they see. As you try and walk towards the restaurant, avoiding confrontation, you're stopped by a stray tourist.
Oh, I'm sorry, am I in your way? I was just wondering if you knew where Professor Palm lived. I was supposed to deliver this to him.
Oh, that old guy? He's in here. I could, hand that to him though if you want.
The girl passes you a small container before running off somewhere. You sigh and walk into the restaurant, where you find your dad already sitting at a table.
Oh, hey player. What's that you got there?
You explain how the girl from before gave it to you, as your dad stares at the container for a second before realizing what it is.
Well, there's no point in keeping you waiting. Happy birthday, player. These are the 3 starter Pokemon here in Frippo, and one of them can be your very first partner. I'm sure whatever you pick will be the right choice for you, player.
You look at him weirdly, wondering why he keeps calling you player when you already have an actual name, but you dismiss the thought as you pick up one of the Pokeballs, making your decision.
I told you you'd make a good choice. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go back to the lab. Nina is probably waiting for me, and there's another trainer who's supposed to be receiving his Pokemon today.
Huh? Why? Is it his birthday too?
Yeah, I bet he's pretty excited, so I don't want to keep him waiting. You understand, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Your father waves you goodbye and you're able to move around again. Here you could order something to eat from the restaurant, but after deciding against it since you just ate breakfast, you head back home to show your mother your new Pokemon.
Oh, isn't that adorable, player? I'm sure you two will get along just fine.
You smile before she mentions something to you.
Talking of Pokemon, you should head towards Ratatown. If you want to become a fledgling trainer, you should ask your father for a Pokédex. Then you can start to capture some more Pokemon friends. You could go on your own adventure. How about it?
Nah.
What? Player, everyone your age has already gone on their own Pokemon journey already. I'm sure it will be a good learning experience for you, so you should get yourself out there.
Fine. I will.
Really? That's great.
She hugs you goodbye before giving you money for a ferry ticket, and a few potions and repels to help you on your journey. You wave her goodbye and head out into town, which you can explore for a bit before heading into the ferry terminal. Once inside, you board a boat with the money your mum gave you, and watch as your little hometown fades into the distance. Before a few minutes later, you arrive at the port in Ratatown. You onboard the boat before following the sign that points towards the Pokemon Research Lab. As you enter the building, your dad turns around to smile at you as Sal Robin resting on his arm. Next to him stands the girl you saw before and another trainer, which you assume to be the person who shares a birthday with you.
Wait a second. You're a player, aren't you? I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you were Professor Palm's son.
It's fine. I do look more like my mother anyway.
Your dad seems a little aloof at this comment, but continues to smile.
Well, player, let me introduce you to the 2 trainers who are starting the journey alongside you. This here is Peter. He's a little shy, but I think you two will be able to get along, since you're quiet too.
Hi. It's nice to meet you, player.
And you've already met my assistant Nina here.
Hi, my name's Nina. I hope we can be good friends. Rivals. Yeah, rivals. But friends too.
The 4 of you giggle a little before your dad clears his throat to get your attention.
Now, I believe it's time you two pick your very first partners.
The other two seem confused before Peter pipes up.
But Professor, I already have my first Pokemon. My dad caught a Philbub for me, and I want it to be my first Pokemon.
And yeah, my sister caught me a Psyduck to use. Why are you giving us a starter Pokemon, sir?
The professor laughs jovially before smiling again.
Well, see as my little gift from me to you. Peter, how about you go first?
Okay.
He looks at the Pokeballs that are left in the container before picking one and pocketing it.
That means I'm left with the one no one wants.
She frowns as she picks up the remaining ball as Peter passes the container over to her, and Professor Palm takes the empty container back from her.
Don't count your Torchies before they hatch, Nina. Why don't you say hello to your new partners in a battle with one another?
A battle?
Player has the other starter, so I think you should fight him.
Ooh, let me go first!
She runs up towards you and stands in a battle pose. Before you're able to object, you're dragged into a battle against her. On her team, she uses the starter strung against yours and her Psyduck. And for the purpose of telling a good story, let's say that she was able to win this one.
Oh my stars. I can't believe I won my very first Pokemon battle. You did really well, player. Here, let me heal your Pokemon for you.
She heals your Pokemon before Peter shyly makes his way towards you.
So I guess it's my turn now.
He makes a less confident battle pose as you're dragged into another battle against him. On his team, he uses the starter weak to yours and a Philbub, and this time you're able to defeat him due to the type matchup. He seems upset and he flinches as your dad pats him on the back.
Well, you can't win them all, Peter. I'm sure you'll be able to beat Player one day.
Yeah! I'm gonna train real hard so I can beat him next time.
Sounds like a good plan. I guess that makes us three official rivals.
Wait, why am I being dragged into this?
You're pulled into a group huddle and your dad chuckles.
Looks like you're making friends already, Player. You three play nicely, okay? I can't believe my son has finally made his first friends.
Where is rivals? It's a different thing.
I don't see why we can't be both.
The professor clears his throat again to gain your attention, and he seems more serious now.
Alright, now that that's settled, to become official trainers, there is an important piece of equipment you will need. A Pokedex. This piece of equipment is still in development, so look after it, okay? Oak won't be very happy if anything happens to them.
Dad, get to the point.
He passes you the device, and Peter immediately starts toying with it, browsing through all its functions.
Well, why don't you three go and begin the Pokemon Gym Challenge? You'll find your first destination right here in Ratatown.
Oh, I've always wanted to challenge the gyms. I'm gonna go and fight Amigan right now.
She runs out in excitement, and Peter looks up from his Pokedex in surprise.
Hey, wait for me! I want to challenge her too!
He follows her out, and the professor chuckles before you decide to also follow them towards the gym building.
This is a Pokemon gym, see? There's 8 in total across the region. 4 in South Frito and 4 in North Frito.
Hey, I already know what a gym is. You don't have to explain it.
Sorry. I guess I'm still getting used to being a professor's assistant.
Well, I thought it was a good explanation.
Thanks, Peter. Anyway, let's go!
You make your way inside of the Pokemon gym and are met with a maze of trees that you would need to navigate through to find the Bug-type gym leader, Imogen, who on her team uses a Burmy and a Larbulb. You're easily able to defeat her, and she gifts you with your first gym badge, the Wood Badge.
I hope you kids have fun on your adventures. Actually, could I get you to do a favor for me? You see, my friend, April, lives over in the next town, and I need to deliver this letter to her, but I'm so busy with the gym and the restaurant recently that I haven't been able to get the time to give her it. So, could you deliver it to her for me?
You accept the mission, pocketing the letter for later.
Oh, and don't worry, it's not too out of the way. You'll be heading her way next anyway. Since she's the gym leader you'll have to face. Deliver it safely for me, okay?
You nod before leaving her gym, and you notice Nina and Peter waiting for you.
Oh? What's that you got, player?
You explain to her the errands that Imogen wanted you to run, before she giggles in response.
Oh, you must be talking about my sister. I know where she is, so I could help you find her if you want.
I'll be okay. She's the gym leader in the next town, right?
And do you even know what that town is? Exactly. You need me to guide you. Well, let's get going. Peter, you can come too.
Me? Okay.
The three of you take your first step onto Route 1, and you're finally able to catch your first Pokemon. Thus ends the tutorial. Yep, don't ask. The first gym is part of the tutorial. But don't worry, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of Imogen later. Anyway, after battling a few trainers and catching some Pokemon, you enter the next town, Margu Town. But as you try to enter the next gym, you notice a sign posted on the door. Out for lunch, be back later. Gym Leader April. You sigh before Nina runs up to you and looks at the sign too.
Well, if she's not here, she's in Margu Castle. She loves to eat lunch in the gardens there.
Alright, let's go.
You and Nina travel into the castle, and you team up in some double battles against the trainers hanging around in the hallways. Eventually, you make your way into the botanical garden, where you spot a girl who looks similar to Nina eating a chocolate bar while sitting on a bench. You wave the letter in her face, and she looks up at you from her unhealthy meal. Oh, do you want some? She gestures the half-beefed and chocolate towards you, and you grimace, before waving letter in her face again. Okay, jeez. She puts the chocolate down and wipes her mouth. Before receiving the letter, she opens it and reads it before blushing slightly. Aww, Imogen's so sweet. Anyway, you're pro enough to challenge my gym, right? I'll get over that for you.
Hey sis, I have an idea. Me and Player should both fight you at the same time, in a double battle. I, really liked fighting with him on our way here. How about it, Player?
Sure.
Alright then, I'll see you two at the gym. She leaves, bringing her chocolate with her before Nina is left in fort.
Player, is it okay if we battle again? I know it hasn't been that long since we last did, but I think it would be more of a fair matchup now that you have more Pokemon traveling alongside you. And anyway, we should battle more, cause that's what rivals do, right? Here goes nothing.
She strikes her battle pose and you're thrown into your second battle with her, where she still uses the starter strong against yours and her Psyduck. But now that you have more Pokemon to cover your weakness with her, you're able to defeat her this time.
Wow, Player, you got stronger fairly quickly. I guess my victory last time was just due to how I had more Pokemon than you after all. Anyway, we should go challenge my sister now.
You nod, and the two of you make your way inside of the gym, where you have to solve a puzzle surrounding the various rain puddles covering the floor of this gym. Once you're able to solve the puzzle, you're met with Gym Leader April, who fights you and Nina in a double battle with her Turbrav and Castform, which turns into its rainy form as part of April's new strategy. With the help of your rival/friend Nina, you're able to defeat her, and you both gain the Weather Badge.
Anyway, sis, what did that ladder from Imogen say?
She wanted to meet me down near the river in Makuna City in the north. She said that she had something she wants to tell me. I haven't the foggiest clue what she wants to talk about. April winks as she makes a pun, and Nina giggles, but you just raise your eyebrow in confusion as you don't understand the weather pun. Anyway, after that encounter, you're able to travel back into Ratatown and traverse the dense forest towards your next location. However, as you enter the forest, you're stopped by Peter.
Player, could you help me with something?
What is it?
Well, you see, this forest is full of bug-type Pokemon, right?
I'd imagine so.
I'm, kinda scared of bugs. They're so creepy. I hear there's this terrible Pokemon who lives deep in the woods who likes to attack humans. It's pink and has sides for arms, and I'm terrified. Please help me, Player. Will you get rid of the bugs for me? I'm not very good at being brave.
Of course I'll help you, Peter.
Oh, thank you so much, Player. Let's get through here as quickly as possible. I don't want us to run into that scary Pokemon.
You guide Peter through the dense forest, fighting off any bug Pokemon that try to spook him. Eventually, you near the end of the forest, but as you walk through the tall grass, you hear a rustle from one of the trees.
Oh no! Is that the scary Pokemon?
He cowers in fear behind you as the creature jumps out of the trees in front of you, revealing itself to be a Frivocian Kricketot.
Ah! Get it away from me, Player!
Wait a sec, Peter. It doesn't seem to be here to fight.
Peter looks at you in confusion before looking back at the Frivocian Kricketot, who cowers in fear as he catches its eyes. Peter is surprised, and he hesitantly walks towards it.
Are you scared of us? Hey, it's okay. I'm scared too. Terrified, actually. But maybe we can learn to be strong together, like Player and his Pokemon. What do you say?
The Kricketot perks up and jumps into Peter's arms. He's startled a little before the Kricketot starts to snuggle up to him, and his nerves slowly fade away as he starts to pet it.
I can't believe it. I was brave. Thank you so much, Player. Without you, I never would have made a new friend.
Peter gives a toothy grin before capturing the Kricketot in a Pokeball to make it official.
We'll be strong together, okay, Kricketot? Oh, by the way, player, can I tell you something?
Sure.
Well, I've never really had a friend before, so thank you. For most of my life, all I've had is my dad, so...
Huh? What happened to your mom?
I don't know. Dad says that she abandoned us. Oh, but my Auntie Ashley is pretty cool. I should introduce you to her sometime.
I'll be looking forward to it.
I really meant what I said before. I've never really been a brave person. But with you and Nina around, I feel like I can do anything. So thank you. So I know this is out of the blue a little, but could we battle? I want to see if I've gotten stronger than last time, so can we?
You accept the battle request, and you're thrown into a battle against Peter, where he uses to start a week for yours, his Philibub, and his brand new Fravotion Kricketot. You're able to defeat him, but he smiles.
I guess you'll always be stronger than me, won't you? But it's fine that I lost. I was able to get to know Kricketot better.
He smiles before the two of you leave the forest and enter Heber's city. As you explore the city and heal your Pokemon from the battle, you spot Nina hanging out near the nearby waterfalls, watching the water cascade down whilst talking to Peter.
So player beat you too, huh?
Yeah, he's pretty strong, isn't he? Guess I'll just have to train more.
They notice you eavesdropping and beckon you over to stand and watch the waterfalls with them.
Can I ask you a question?
What is it?
I'd like to think that we're friends. I've never really had a friend before. Sorry. So, are we friends?
Of course we're your friends, Peter. Isn't that right, player?
Nah, Peter sucks.
What? Player, that isn't funny.
Player, don't be rude. Peter, ignore him. I'll always be your friend.
Aw, thank you, Nina.
Hey, I was kidding. Of course we're friends.
Well, maybe next time don't make jokes at inappropriate times, okay?
Fine, I won't. But I really was kidding. It's nice to have friends.
Well, it's nice to be your friend too, player.
Nina waves goodbye and Peter and you are left alone.
So, do you want to go through the Sierra Nature Reserve with me? I could really use your confidence, player. I wouldn't dare to make a joke like that.
Yeah, you can come with.
Great, let's go!
The two of you leave the city and enter the nature reserve, where many wild Pokemon are hanging around in the area. A Fravotion Yanma flies over Peter's head, and he ducks before smiling.
Wow, this place is amazing! It's even greater than I imagined it to be.
You take a walk around the nature reserve alongside Peter, bumping into many rare Pokemon and fighting some lingering trainers alongside him in a double battle. Eventually, the two of you reach an observation deck that looks over the entire park, and Peter stops in surprise.
Oh, Scientist KA1! It's me, Peter!
You're confused as Peter runs up towards a young man wearing a strange visor, and he takes it off to smile at Peter.
Oh, hello, Peter. How's your journey been so far?
It's been great, thanks. How's Dad been?
Busy, as always. Hey, how about next time I see him, I'll tell him how you've been. I think he'd like that.
Oh, that would be great! Tell him I made some new friends.
Peter ushers you over into the conversation, presenting you in front of the scientist.
KA1, this is Player. Player, this is KA1. But you can call him Alan if you want.
Please don't. My name is KA1.
Aw, I don't see what's so wrong with your actual name. Anyway, Player here helped me get over my fear of bug Pokemon.
The scientist seems to realize something and looks at you with a strange look on his face, almost as if he recognizes you.
Ah, so you're a player. Huh.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, didn't I, Player? Have you heard of a tech company called Cyber Labs before?
Refresh my memory.
Cyberlabs is a company dedicated to bettering the lives of people and Pokemon. It's definitely an experience working here, and I'm sure one day you trainers could join our wonderful organization if you really wished to.
Well, the whole point of this journey is to figure out if I should continue the family tradition. I don't think I'm fit to run Cyber Labs just yet. I want to become more confident with myself before then.
Take as much time as you need to, Peter. We at Cyberlabs will all be rooting for you.
Thanks, KA1.
He shakes the scientist's hand before turning back towards you, a smile on his face.
Come on, Player. Sierra Town isn't too far away from here.
You nod, and the two of you continue through the nature reserve. And as you see the town fade into view, you can't help but notice a chain-link fence surrounding a part of the forest, with a padlock attached to the gate, blocking you from exploring that pathway. but you're deterred from the thought as Peter drags you into the next town.
Come on, player, I want to go watch the Kiwi Jog and Star Sprint.
Before you're able to raise an objection, he drags you into the Wildlife Observatory, and you see many Kiwi Jog and Star Sprint racing each other. There's a group of delinquent trainers in the corner of the room who seem to be placing bets on the races, but you turn your attention towards your friends as Nina walks up to the two of you.
You know, nature really is something, isn't it? It's terrible that some companies disregard this beauty in place of their warehouses and factories.
Oh, but Cyber Labs isn't like that. They're trying to find a way to promote harmony between trainers and their Pokemon. They would never hurt the environment like that.
Oh, really? Every company is the same. They plague the earth with their terrible machines.
But Cyber Labs isn't like that, Nina. You can't judge all companies just based on a few bad applins.
Then why are there some warehouses in this town with Cyber Labs' logo on the side?
What? No, you're lying.
Well, if you don't believe me, come see for yourself.
Scene fades to black, and it fades back to Nina guiding you and Peter towards the warehouses on the outskirts of town.
See? You can't look at that and pretend Cyber Labs doesn't have the flaws too.
She points towards one of the warehouses, and lo and behold, she was right. The logo of Cyber Labs is on the side of one of them.
Your dad is part of them, right, Peter? What are they storing in there?
No, this can't be true. I'm sorry, I have to go.
Peter runs away in tears, and Nina's expression suddenly calms down before the realization kicks in that she might have hurt Peter's feelings.
Peter, wait! I didn't mean it! Come back!
Look back at the warehouse awkwardly before following them to see if they're okay. You're able to find them inside of the rose garden, and Peter sits on the edge of the fountain crying into his hands. You watch as Nina slowly makes her way towards him, and sits down next to him. They're awkwardly quiet for a bit before Nina places a hand on his shoulder.
Are you okay? I'm sorry if I upset you. It's just... No, you're right. I shouldn't have said those terrible things. I know how much your father means to you. It's okay if you don't want to be friends anymore. I'm a horrible person.
Nina, it's okay. You didn't know. And you're right. Maybe I am a little over my head about Cyber Labs being a good company. And they are. I'm sure there's a good explanation behind this. But you're right. Nobody's perfect.
Even me?
Yeah. Imperfections are what make us human after all.
Aw, Peter.
She suddenly hugs him, and he blushes slightly before hugging her back as the argument has faded and all is forgiven. You smile a little, happy that they were able to work things out, before making your way towards the gym in the city. In this gym, there would be a puzzle surrounding a cheeky star sprint that you would have to play hide and seek with, before eventually it runs up towards the gym leader, who's wearing a cloak to obscure their identity.
So, you finally come face to face with destiny. You stand there thinking, who is this mysterious gym leader? Well, I guess it's time I finally reveal the truth.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Hey, couldn't you at least let me finish my speech, player?
The mystery trainer takes off her hood and reveals herself to be your very own mother.
Well, I guess the meow's out of the bag now. This was supposed to be a surprise to you. So hi, I'm the gym leader here. Or I guess you already know that. Let's battle.
You're thrown into a battle against gym leader Anne, also known as your mother, and on her team she uses a Sunflora, a Floette, and the Star Sprint you were chasing around. After defeating her, she gifts you with the Sunflower Badge, before hugging you goodbye for now. But as you leave the gym, you're surprised as someone jumps out in front of you. Nina!
Surprise! Let's battle!
I just got out of the gym battle. Could you not?
Hey, I challenge you to a surprise battle like all rivals do. Accept my battle request!
Can I at least heal my Pokemon first?
Nina's look of determination fades for a second before she sighs and heals your Pokemon for you.
There. Now fight me!
You're dragged into the surprise encounter with Nina. On her team, she uses the second form of the starter strong against yours, her Psyduck, and a Provocian Yanma. You're able to defeat her again, but her determination doesn't fade.
No. I can't lose. I'm the only one who can change things around here. I'll remember this, player. This will be the last time you defeat me.
She glares at you before bursting out into laughter.
You should see your face right now. See, player? I can do jokes too.
She winks before running off. After that very strange interaction that you can't help but feel is familiar somehow, you travel the route towards Gentian City, where there seems to be a lot of people talking about the local museum.
I heard the museum has a special exhibition today, showing off some of Cyber Labs' tech.
Really? Well, I heard they're displaying the history of different regions in there right now. Your curiosity now piqued, you decide to look around the museums to see what they have on offer. And as you walk inside, you immediately spot Nina and Peter, who are also here, and they're observing different exhibits. You decide to go and talk to Peter first, who is looking at the Cyber Labs exhibit, where a replica of the strange visor you saw before is placed upon a mannequin.
Oh, hey player. You noticed the visor that KA1 was wearing, didn't you? It's a new piece of technology that does a whole bunch of cool things. This is a replica of the original CVV-1 model, which my father made when he first started up Cyber Labs.
Wait, so your dad is the boss of Cyber Labs? No wonder why you look up to him so much.
Yeah, but he's usually busy with work, so Auntie Ashley looks after me while he's working.
So you have an aunt?
She's not actually related to me. I just call her that. She's pretty great.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna look around a little more.
You make your way over to talk to Nina, however, you're interrupted as you accidentally bump into someone and they drop their necklace on the floor. You recognize the symbol, a yellow cross with a lightning bolt tail, but you're unsure of where exactly you've seen that emblem before. You shrug this off and pick up the stranger's necklace, apologizing for bumping into him as you do. He looks up at you before smiling.
Oh, sorry, mate. I shouldn't have been in your way. Do you want to look at the exhibit?
You raise an eyebrow before shrugging and making your way towards the exhibit that he was looking at.
You know, this is the story of Amor region. Have you heard of it before?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've ever heard the story.
Well, once upon a time there was a beloved king known as Mahalatima. However, one day, he was banished by his own son, Blake. He used his powers of legendary demonic to change reality, so he will be a ruler. The other legendaries, Inapalami and Dusken, try to stop him, but there's no way no match for demonic's abilities, and Blake still rules Roma on this day.
You seem confused as you're hit by a sudden wave of deja vu, as you feel like you've heard that story before. You shake it off as the strange trainer looks at you in confusion before smiling again.
I bloody decided to try and stop his tyranny. I just need a few more people to join my cause, and then we can bring peace back to Amon.
Wait, so who are you again?
Sorry mate, I should introduce myself. Name's Trent Askos. I should think about it. Maybe after your journey here is over, you could come and help. What do you say?
You tell him that you'll think about it. After that strange confrontation, you finally walk up to Nina and she smiles at you.
Oh, hey, player! Are you here to look around?
Something like that.
Well, you know the story of Toho Wall, right?
Kinda. I didn't get to finish the book I was reading about it.
Well, here's the best place to learn more about it. This exhibit has so much information on Fredo's settlers. Look!
She points towards a depiction of a young girl, which you can't help but think looks a little bit like Nina before she smiles.
Her name is RakuraiKaze, and one day I'm going to be just like her and become friends with Toho Wall.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah! I've been studying Psychic-type Pokemon a whole lot recently, to see if any of them can use their powers to tell me how to meet Toho Wall.
I, don't think that's how it works.
Well, I'm determined to face it in a Pokemon battle one day. Professor Palm says that there's a special Pokemon waiting out there for me to become my partner for life, like his Beachrome. And I want that Pokemon to be Toho Wall.
Well, I'm sure you will one day. As long as you believe that you can.
Oh really? Thanks, player! I guess you really are nice, aren't you?
You look away as you're reminded of how you upset Peter earlier on, but Nina smiles at you reassuringly.
Hey, player, we all make mistakes, okay? The real thing that matters is how you decide to make up for them.
As you stare at her, taking her words of encouragement in, you zone out for a second as you're reminded of something. Something you feel you should be remembering. And then you look up as you realize.
Hey, Nina. Why does everyone here keep calling me player?
Because it's your name, player. Oh, would you rather be called something else? I'm so sorry.
Well, if you're giving me the option, then my name is Elara.
You hold your head in pain suddenly before you look up again, a confused expression on your face.
Player, are you okay? Is it something I said? Wait, you don't want to be called player, do you? What's your name then?
Huh? But my name is player.
But you seemed not to like it just a few seconds ago. Are you sure you didn't hit your head or something?
No, I think I just zoned out for a second there.
You both seem a little confused before you decide to leave the museum and continue on your journey towards Salem City, and you immediately challenge the electric-type gym there, which has a puzzle based around redirecting beams of light to open up the door to the next room, where you eventually find the gym leader, Blair, who on their team they use an Electabuzz, a Luxio, and their signature Dolphicity. After defeating them, they give you the Shutter Badge, before mentioning that your next destination on your quest for more badges will be on the North Island, and they give you a leaflet that they tell you to give to an eccentric woman wearing a hat who calls herself Verbena. After grabbing the pamphlet, you enter the ferry terminal in the city, and see the woman described standing behind a pop-up store, and she's handing out leaflets to passerbys. She notices you staring and beckons you over. Oh, hi player, you must be here to give me that leaflet from Blair, right?
Wait, how did you... Yeah, whatever. Here, just take it. My day's weird enough already.
Oh, Blair's so sweet. See look, they gave me a leaflet for Frivo. I've always wanted one of these.
Wait, but you literally sell these things for a living. How do you not have one yet?
I sell leaflets, not keep them, but this one is special. Talking of leaflets, do you want one? The mysterious tour guide waves a leaflet in your face which is labelled Amurg. Here, you can swap me for this one. These ones haven't been selling as well after those meddling kids have gone around telling people what happened there.
Meddling kids? Do you need help with them?
Oh, you're going to help? Thanks a lot, player. You'll find one of them near the center of Frivo. Thanks a lot. She pushes you along before you're even given the chance to say no, and she calls out to you, make sure your parents book the holiday through Vera Travels next time, before you reluctantly leave to deal with the youths giving her trouble. After following the signs and traveling a trail, you're met with an amazing view, before you notice Peter looking out at it, and you walk over to greet him.
Oh, hi player. What are you here for?
Have you been spreading rumors about the Amurg region?
Huh? What's an Amurg? And why would I be spreading rumors about it?
It was a joke, Peter.
Your attention is diverted from him as you feel a presence appear behind you, and you're met by a strange girl wearing a red sweater.
Sorry, but I couldn't help but overhear you talking about the Amurg region. Are you too interested in our cause?
No, actually. This weird lady told me you're turning down sales of her leaflets.
You wave the leaflet in the girl's face, and she frowns as she grabs it and takes a read.
No, none of this is right. She can't be sending people on holiday there. It's too dangerous. Hasn't she heard about what's happening there?
What's happening there?
It's a region far away from here that's under the rule of this terrible king. I wish I could go and help them, but it's impossible to navigate the darkness surrounding there.
Hey, I know. You should bring a Philibub with you.
A Philibub? Why?
Well, I heard Philibub loves to explore new places. Oh, and it has the power to light up darkness, so it would be great for that.
Huh. I never thought about getting a Pokemon's help before. Thank you, Peter.
The girl disappears as mysteriously as she appeared before Peter raises an eyebrow.
Wait, when did I tell her my name? Anyway, player, is it okay if we battle? I think I've gotten a lot stronger since last time, since I have a few new members on my team. So, can we? Can we battle?
You accept, beginning your next rival battle with Peter, who on his team uses the second form of the starter weak to yours, his Philibub, a Provocian Cricketune, and a Corvisquire. And as you beat him, he shakes your hand in congratulations and grins, before going on his way. After you fail to divert the course of history, you make your way back towards the ferry terminal, where you lie to the tour guide and say you were successful, in hopes of not destroying events that, in your mind, already happened, before boarding a boat towards northern Frivo.
And now Mary is getting ready for a powerful attack. It's her Gardevoir signature Fairy Arrow. And what amazing move it is too! This battle's getting more intense by the second. Oh! And the attack hits! Is Pinsir going to be able to hang on? And that's it, folks! Pinsir is unable to battle! And Mary Smith claims her 31st win in a row this season! This woman is one to look out for. She's on champion levels of extreme. Wow, what a stunning performance by Miss Smith. That's all, folks.
Mary Smith? Where have I heard that name before? So, she's really strong, huh? She seems pretty cool. Did she ever become the champion? That's too bad. She seems to have a lot of potential from what I saw just now. Fine. I'll shut up now.
Huh? Guess I must have fallen asleep. Guess that's my cue.
After onboarding the boat, you're met with an incredible sight. The capital city of Rivo, Cowhigh City. You're amazed by how big this place is compared to the other cities you've been in before, but you're snapped out of your daze as someone taps you on the shoulder. Peter.
You look shocked, player. A lot of people from the south react that way when they first see this place with their own eyes, but I guess I'm used to it since I grew up here. Hey, I can finally fulfill my promise to you. Let's go and meet Ashley.
Before you're able to argue, Peter drags you across the city, before stopping at the front doors of a giant building in the middle of town which bears the logo of Cyber Labs.
She's in here, come on!
The automatic doors open, and you're met by a reception lobby, where many scientists are talking to each other. Currently, the receptionist seems to be having a heated discussion with an employee, and you overhear their conversation.
FA5, I asked for 3 sugars, not 2. Next time, get my coffee order right. I need my daily dose of caffeine so I can be productive at work.
The scientist leaves, still annoyed, before you and Peter make your way towards the desk.
Oh, Peter, how have you been? Are you having fun on your journey?
Yeah, I am. And I want you to meet one of my new friends. This here is Player.
She smiles at the prospect of her surrogate nephew making new friends, but her face falls flat as she realizes something.
Wait, did you say Player? That's definitely your name?
I still don't know why people keep calling me that. My name is
You cut yourself off again as you hold your head in pain, before looking back at Ashley, and something seems to be troubling her as she looks at you and Peter.
It's probably nothing. You guys should get some rest before the big day tomorrow. I can lend you a room here for the night, if you'd like.
Oh, that would be great! Thanks a lot. See, Player? I told you Ashley's great.
He grins, but you're a little aloof as you think about the look she had on her face when she heard your name. But you're deterred as Peter grabs the room key that Ashley hands him, and he drags you into the room. The room you enter is filled with all sorts of Cyberlabs memorabilia. Some toys made by a young child are scattered around the floor, and the TV in the corner of the room has a Super Nintendo plugged into it, and is open to some sort of video game.
So what do you think? This is my room.
It's a little messy.
Well, of course it is. A working mind like mine can't function properly in an empty room.
You smile in response, but you can't help but feel a little on edge from the omnipresent reminder that this room is part of Cyber Labs. As well as that, you're concerned about the fact that most of the toys look very old and worn, as if they've been around for years. You shake off the thought as you're glad that Peter feels at home here before he passes you the key to your own room and you leave. And as you drift off to sleep, you have a dream.
You have to stop being so selfish. It seems I have to do everything myself around here.
I've told you many times already that I don't care. Our unveiling ceremony is tomorrow, and we mustn't delay.
Is that all you care about anymore? The company? You've changed. You're not the man I fell in love with. I'm leaving.
And as the door slams, you wake up in shock. You're confused as you remember hearing someone who sounded like your mother. But your train of thought is interrupted by a knock at the door.
Player, I'm leaving without you, okay? My dad wants me to be there early to help him with preparations. I'll see you there, okay?
Okay.
You leave your room, but before you're able to exit the building, you're stopped by Ashley.
Wait, Player. We should go up there together, in the cable car. How about it?
You're a little confused by the sudden gesture, but you agree as she leads you towards the cable car station.
The ceremony is happening atop Mount Kip now. You have to take the cable car to get up there. Come on, let's hurry.
The two of you jump in the cable car together. The atmosphere is a little awkward, and also a little tense as you're reminded of a similar situation to this. But you're snapped out of your daze as Ashley decides to speak up.
You know, I like working for Wyatt. No, I love working for him. It's just, ever since his wife left him, he's never been satisfied. He wants to make sure that he never makes a mistake like that again.
Why did she leave?
I don't know. All I know is that he abandoned Peter and left me to be the mother figure in his life.
You know, he looks up to you a lot.
Yeah, I know. He could have had so much more if it wasn't for Wyatt being selfish. But he's learned from his past mistakes. Peter adores him. And now Wyatt is the CEO of the leading tech company in this region. It must be pretty great to be him.
She clears her throat as she blushes slightly before the cable car stops at your destination.
Oh, seems we are here. Come on, player. You're gonna love this.
You follow her out the cable car, and you're met by the amazing view of the city from above, as well as a gathering of people standing in front of a podium, where a familiar-looking man stands beside Ashley and Peter. You spot Nina in the crowd, and you make your way over to her.
Hey Nina, what's going on?
Shh! You're going to tell us soon!
The crowd goes quiet as the man, who you assume to be Wyatt, clears his throat and taps the microphone on his headset. The sound reverberates around the arena before he speaks up.
Welcome, one and all, to the annual Cyber Lab Showcase, where we unveil our new invention to the public atop our beautiful Mount Kipna. Now, we have a lot in store for you today. As you know, many Pokemon all over Fritho undergo something called evolution. Once a Pokemon reaches a high enough bond with its trainer, it will change shape and become a stronger version of itself. This phenomenon is still being researched to this day, but today I'd like to unveil this, the Cyber Disc. I have developed this Cyber Disc to enable certain Pokemon to undergo never-before-seen evolutions, to become a stronger and more refined version of themselves. For example, take this Eevee, who is known for its unique DNA structure. So far, 3 evolutions have been discovered: Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. But now, there is a 4th with the help of the Cyber Disc. This here is the brand new Cybion, engineered by us at Cyber Labs to be the perfect companion to any fledgling trainer. And watch this! Cybion is able to gather data, which can be translated on this screen to reveal... As you can see, Cybion can project its thoughts onto any nearby device, so it's a handy tool for those trainers out there who have always wanted to know what their Pokemon are thinking. Oh, and it seems Cybion has already taken quite the shining to me. Now, you'll be glad to know that the Cyber Disc is currently being developed to work on other Pokemon. Our current test subjects are Zangoose and Seviper. But the current version is a gift to my son, Peter.
Huh? Me?
You remember the Philibub that I caught for you, Peter? Now, with the power of this Cyber Disc, it can evolve too.
Really?
Yes, really. Why don't you demonstrate for our friends here?
I don't know. I kinda like Philibub the way it is.
Ah, come on, Peter. You wouldn't want to upset our guests today, would you? Everyone, give a warm welcome to our new friend, Lightnabub. His evolved form has heightened abilities and strengths, as well as serving as his trainer's sole protector. The perfect companion for my perfect son.
So, yeah, we made a statue to commemorate the occasion. If you want to send us pictures, then email them to us. That's all.
The crowd seems confused by the abrupt ending to the presentation before Ashley pulls the covering off the statue, revealing it to be a statue of Fritho's hero, LukeVA. The crowd applauds once more and the screen fades to black. After the scene fades back, the crowd has dispersed, leaving only you, Peter, and Nina to observe the new statue.
Wait a second. Why is she holding a friend ball? Pokeballs didn't exist back in her time.
And her clothes seem overly stylized. The pattern on our clothing is supposed to be circles, not triangles.
The two look towards each other, realizing that they're both overanalyzing things, and they giggle a little. Before you leave, you're able to inspect the statue on your own, where you find a plaque at the base of the statue. RakuraiKaze, the hero of the Fritho region. Statue erected by Cyber Labs, January 31st, 1997.
Hey, wait up, player. You should go get one of those Cyber Disc things from Ashley.
Oh, I want one too!
The scene fades out and fades back to the three of you walking into Cyber Labs HQ once more, but as you reach the reception desk, you're met by a somewhat familiar face, Scientist KA1. But he seems a little different, as his visor covers his face.
KA1? What are you doing here? And where's Ashley?
FA5 is busy with her work. I'm in charge until she returns.
Alright. Can we get our hands on one of those Cyber Disc things?
Of course you can.
The three of you are a little confused about his demeanor as he passes the three of you a Cyber Disc each before waving you goodbye.
Well, that was definitely not weird at all. Is he usually like that, Peter?
No. Maybe he's just had a long day at work today. He'll probably be okay tomorrow.
Nina agrees with this as the two of them leave, but you look back towards Cyberlab's HQ as you remember the visor covering his face. And you touch your own face in hesitance, as if you yourself were wearing a visor. But before you pretend to take the imaginary visor off, you snap back to reality.
No, I can't give up now. I have to find out more about what exactly that visor does.
You smile, determined, before you challenge the gym in this city, which is run by Wyatt himself. The gym puzzle stars a VR maze which you have to make your way around before you fight Wyatt, who on his team uses a Vicobra, a Metang, his newly evolved Scibion, and his signature Skarmory. After he gifts you with the Cyber Badge, you'll make your way towards your next destination, Makuna City. But before you're able to enter the gym here, you overhear some chatter from some nearby cyber scientists who seem to be staring at you a lot.
Hey sis, doesn't that kid over there look weirdly similar to Wyatt?
Yeah, you're right, and he looks a lot like Peter too. I heard that he's the son of Professor Palm, but he barely looks anything like him.
What were you saying about my dad?
Ah, it was nothing, player. Please ignore us.
Man, even his glare is like Wyatt's.
The two scientists run off towards Cowhigh City again, and you take a deep breath to calm yourself from the sudden art burst. Before you frown.
They're right, though. I guess I really don't look much like my dad.
You suddenly remember the strange dream you had last night.
I've told you many times already that I don't care.
And you realize that the other voice you heard was Wyatt's. You're even more confused about what that dream meant now, but you shake off the thought as your emotional turmoil begins to make you feel sick.
Hey, I wonder if Imogen or April are around here somewhere. They're supposed to be having a date or something here, right? I should go find them.
To get your mind off of things, you decide to take a walk down the riverside, taking in the relaxing atmosphere as you watch some Petunia and Zudua swim around in the clear water. Eventually the trail ends, and you spot a pavilion at the end where April is leaning against one of the banisters. You wave at her, and she perks up for a second before frowning again. Oh, hey player, sorry, I thought you were Imogen. I'm still waiting for her to show up. Mind keeping me company?
Sure. I need to get my mind off some things anyway.
So, how's Nina been? Are you two still friends?
Yeah, she's okay. I think that her Psyduck is gonna evolve soon, though.
That's good. I'm proud to know that she's getting stronger because you're her rival.
Well, Peter is her rival, too. Kinda.
The two of you sit in silence for a few seconds before you say something weird to April.
Do you ever think about this world? And how any minute it could all just end?
Huh? I don't know much about the world ending. Why do you ask, player?
What if all of this is just fake? What if we're just chess pieces and the world is one big chessboard? What if everything that's happening right now is just one big game?
That would mean that there has to be a player, right? For this world to exist, I mean.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry for suddenly dropping that on you.
Well, I'm sure that even if this is all one big game, the player is going to give us a happy ending, right?
Yeah, I will. I mean, they will. If they're even real, that is.
You chuckle nervously, slightly regretting bringing that conversation topic up in the first place, before you decide to head back towards the gym in the city, whose gym leader has now conveniently returned. After completing his gym puzzle, where you have to play a mini-game where you clean and resurrect a fossil Pokemon, you challenge the gym leader Ethan, who on his team uses a Bugshiroo, a Hippowdon, an Excadrill, an Anki-Tread, and his signature Chocobore. After defeating him, he gives you your 6th gym badge, the Fossil Badge, before you bid him goodbye, but not before he gives you the Pokemon that you were able to revive as part of his gym challenge. After gaining a new prehistoric member to your team, you travel to the next city, Callist City. There seems to be a group of people gathered around something in the center of town, so you go over to see what they're all looking at before being surprised. It's a statue of RakuraiKaze that looks suspiciously identical to the one that Cyber Labs unveiled earlier. But you notice that this statue has the details that Nina and Peter mentioned were missing. But there's something off about this one, as you notice a visor on the statue's face, which looks like the visor you've seen cyber scientists wearing. But as you finish looking at the strange statue, someone bumps into you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She gathers herself before looking up at you and realizing something.
Wait a second. Are you player?
Yes?
Oh, well, could you help me out with something?
Am I allowed to say no?
I haven't even told you what I need help with yet.
Anyway, there's been reports of a strange individual who climbed up Mount Ratos without proper clearance. I would go and check it out myself, but I'm already juggling so much work for the boss. You don't mind, do you?
Okay. I guess I'll go check it out.
Thanks! I'll give you the special permit which will allow you to go up there.
She gives you a permit before heading towards the nearby police station. You follow her instructions and begin the climb up the mountain, where you encounter many rare or strange Pokemon before reaching the summit, where you notice a cyber scientist pacing around in circles.
Assistant FT7 here. I'm up on Mount Ratos right now. The energy signature here seems to display recent psychic activity. I will update you once I learn... I'm sorry, sir. I will be just a moment. Are you lost, player? Allow me to assist you back down the mountain.
What are you doing up here? And who are you just talking to?
Children are so annoying with their persistent questioning. You saw nothing here, understand?
Well, it's my word against yours. I'm sure Wyatt wouldn't be too happy if he heard about this.
Shut up! I'll teach you what happens to people who disrespect our leader.
She glares and you're thrown into a Pokemon battle against her, where she uses a Rotom and a Behem, and you're easily able to strike her down with the combined efforts of your team. She seems even more pissed off than before, but the expression suddenly fades into a sick smile as she starts to laugh.
You may have beaten me, but there will be no stopping what has already begun. Cyber Labs will bring peace to Friezo. No, to the entire world. All will be revealed in due time.
She runs off, dropping the visor as she leaves. You pick up the strange device and inspect it slightly, seeing that the display has now switched off. You pocket it for later, but as you move it, you notice something else lying on the ground. A strange white rock, which gives off a strange feeling. You decide to pick that up too, before heading back towards the police station.
Player! You were fast! Is everything okay? What happened?
No, there was a Cyber Labs scientist up there who said something about psychic activity. Then she dropped this when she left.
A pair of weird sunglasses. These look like what that statue outside is wearing.
She starts to put the visor on and you try to stop her, but it's too late, as she places it on her face and the display switches on again. She clicks a few buttons on the side of it as the display switches colors as she looks at all the different functions.
Oh hey! This is cool! This thing displays all sorts of information. For some reason, there's some information on Venalis here. Weird.
Venalis? What's that?
It's not a what. It's a who. Many years ago, back when the Frithor region was first discovered, there was a Pokemon known as Venalis, who was determined to bring destruction to the region. But, with the help of Tohawul, the settlers were able to fend off Venalis and take this land for their own, creating our beautiful region. Legend says that Venalis is still out there, waiting for its revenge. But that's only an old fairy tale.
Then what did the files on it say?
It was to do with the Battle Bond ability that Tohawul was rumored to have. And plans to give Venalis that same ability. The files called it Synergy Burst.
Hey, can I keep this? I think I know someone who could tell me more about the data on here.
Sure, go ahead.
You wave a thank you and goodbye before you leave this town and travel towards the next one, Karaka Town. But as you walk into this town, you notice someone down at the beach.
Oh, hey! Nina! Over here!
You run towards your friend Nina and the two of you hug as you finally see each other again for the first time in a while.
Hey player, did you miss me?
I thought that we were rivals, not friends. Rivals don't hug each other hello when they see each other.
Oh my Tohawul, you're right.
She pushes you off of her and brings out a Pokeball.
We're supposed to fight each other.
You kind of regret reminding her of the whole rival versus friend thing, but you oblige as you accept the battle request. On Nina's team, she uses Golduck, the final form of the starter strong against yours, Promotion Yanmega, Cluntry, and a Medicham. After defeating her, she grins.
Man, I'm so glad that you're my rival. It just makes me even more excited to fight you. You're the best, Basil.
Wait, what?
Did I say something wrong, player?
No, you said nothing wrong, Nina. It's just...
You look away, conflicted over what she just said, before she speaks up again.
Oh, by the way, player, you should come and see this.
She leads you towards the beach and draws your attention to something carved into the side of one of the cliffs next to a waterfall.
What do you think it means?
I think this is depicting the fight between the settlers and the legendary Venelas.
Do you think so? There's something off about this carving, don't you think?
You take a closer look at it, and she explains.
Venelas looks scared. I thought it was supposed to be this terrible monster. But this drawing is making it look like the settlers are the bad guys, and... Where's RakuraiKaze?
The ground suddenly shakes as Nina finishes her sentence, as the waterfall suddenly stops flowing, revealing...
Whoa, there's a cave back here! Come on, player, let's go check it out!
Nina clambers into the cave opening, and you reluctantly follow her in. The cave is lit up by many Muralol and Flambat, and there seems to be some writing on the walls as you walk through.
What does that writing say?
It's unknown runes. Let me try and read them. Our defender, Venelas, tried to protect the Frither region from invaders, but to no avail. He grew berserk and ended up surrendering to the higher powers. There is no hope left for us anymore. Player, what does this mean?
The two of you finish your walk as you're met with a dead end, where on the wall is more runes.
It looks like... instructions? The prophecy states that whenever disaster strikes, our protector, Venelas, will travel with the hero to stop the calamity. Player, these runes... They're making it sound like Venelas was the one who protected the region. But I thought that Tohoa was the one that the legends talked about. This is all so confusing. It says nothing about Tohoa here. And nothing about Lori either. What does this mean?
You look at Nina hesitantly before you notice something below the writing on the wall. A pedestal, which has an indentation where it looks like something could be placed. You suddenly remember the strange white rock that you found at the top of Mount Ratos, and it's a perfect fit. The room suddenly shakes again before it stops. You and Nina look back at the pedestal to see that the white rock has now become infused with electrical energy of some kind, and now looks somewhat like a scale, as well as the writing on the wall seeming different.
If you are the chosen one, then you should know what to do with this once the time comes. Venelas and Tohoa were never supposed to be enemies. You must reunite them and save the region from disaster. So, what is this? Is it one of Venelas' scales?
Nina goes to pick it up, but is zapped by the energy surrounding it. She holds her hand in pain before she looks towards you. You step up to the pedestal and are easily able to pick up the scale and pocket it.
So, I guess I'm supposed to save the region or something now? But I have no idea what those runes were talking about. But I guess that I'll find out soon enough. So, cyberlabs are evil, right, Nina?
I don't know. They seem normal enough for a tech company. Unless you think there's something wrong with them.
No, I have a hunch. But we'll just have to wait and see.
You're really weird sometimes, player. Anyway, let's get out of this cave.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you my name is Elara. Ugh!
You're cut off as you feel a small shock on your wrist and you hold it in pain, before following Nina outside. After that very strange experience, you decide to challenge the gym here, while the puzzle involves you having to skate around on an ice rink to avoid obstacles and trainers. Eventually, you come face to face with the gym leader, Natalie, who on her team uses a Lapras, a Frostmoth, a Frozorchid, a Winterwren, and her signature Frozlaz. After defeating her, she gives you your 7th gym badge, the Rink badge, before you head towards your next destination. As you enter Mayoso City, you notice a commotion in the square, but you also notice Peter standing outside the Pokemon Center. You decide to walk up to him first, and you give him a hug like you did with Nina previously. He's a little embarrassed by the sudden gesture before he lets go and smiles weakly.
Oh. Hi, player. What's up?
No, I actually have something I want you to look at.
What is it?
You bring out the visor that you found before, and you pass it towards Peter. He seems a little confused as he looks back at you.
A cyber visor? Why do you want me to look at it?
It was doing something weird to the scientist I got it from. While she was wearing it, she was acting really strange. She wasn't as polite as the other scientists I've seen.
You're right. That does sound weird. I get why you wanted me to look at it now.
He puts the visor on, and it turns on again, and he flicks through the different functions it has before frowning.
Everything seems pretty normal. Are you sure it was just the visor that caused her to act that way?
Well, if it helps, the scientist was the one we saw harassing Ashley. FT7.
Then you're right. She was acting strange earlier. She's not usually that cranky. And K1 too. He was acting like he didn't even know who I was. And both of them were wearing the visor on their face when they were acting strange.
Peter is in thought for a few seconds. as slowly his quizzical expression becomes more flat.
Peter, are you okay?
I've never been happier. I never was able to see how beautiful this invention really is.
Peter, are you...
Back off! I won't let you get in the way of Wyatt's plan for this region. He's going to show everyone the truth and take his place as the...
Peter cuts himself off as suddenly the visor switches off and Peter faints. You catch him as the visor falls into the ground and he slowly starts to wake up.
Peter, are you okay?
Ugh, what just happened? I remember being strangely happy, but it felt wrong. What did I just do?
Peter stands up properly as he starts to remember what just happened.
Player, you were right. Something is really wrong with that visor. I don't remember anything that happened after I put that thing on. It must have been hacked by someone to try and ruin my father's reputation. We need to warn everyone.
Peter, I don't think...
You're cut off as Peter drags you towards the commotion in the town square, where you notice a crowd is gathered around a podium similar to the one that was on Mount Kipner. Ashley is standing on it, and she holds her own visor in her hands, displaying it to the crowd.
This is the CyberVisor version 4, which we can display many different pieces of information which assists our scientists in their everyday research. I myself use this handy device to help out with my work, and soon we at CyberLabs plan to release a version of this device out to the public.
Ashley, stop!
Ashley and the crowd are surprised as Peter hesitantly steps forward.
Ashley, please listen to me. I got my hands on one of those things, and I figured out what it really does. And it's a really bad thing that someone is trying to ruin Father's reputation with.
Ashley looks back at the visor that she's holding and seems conflicted before she forces a smile onto her face.
Peter, what are you talking about? You're embarrassing me in front of the crowd.
I don't care. That visor's bad news. Why can't you see that?
Children have the wildest imaginations, don't they? Me? A liar? Very funny, Peter.
But I'm not lying. It could ruin CyberLabs forever.
Ashley still seems to be in disbelief, but she looks back at the visor hesitantly, then back at Peter, before she leaves in a hurry.
Ashley, wait!
The scene fades to black and fades back to show that the podium and the crowd have disappeared, leaving you and Peter looking a little nervous.
I'm worried about Ashley. We should go to CyberLabs HQ and see if she's okay. I don't want the visor to make her act weird, too. You should go ahead, player. I want to figure out exactly what this visor does.
You wave Peter a hesitant goodbye, and you take the ferry from Karakatown back towards Cowhigh City. As you walk up to the entrance of CyberLabs, you spot Peter waiting outside.
I've been able to hack the visor you gave me. I found out that it brainwashes people into following orders from Dad, and there's something on here about plans to change Venaliz's form and purge the region of its nature, or whatever that means. Player, you believe me, right? I know it sounds crazy, but I really need your support right now.
Maybe this wasn't because of someone trying to ruin your father's reputation.
What do you mean?
When you were under the visor's control, you said something about...
I won't let you get in the way of Wyatt's plan for this region. He's going to show everyone the truth and take his place as the...
And then FT7...
CyberLabs will bring peace to Friezo. No, to the entire world. All will be revealed in due time.
I think Wyatt was behind this.
What? Don't say that, player. My father would never do something like this.
You keep saying that, but there's always something about CyberLabs which just seems suspicious to me.
And what's that? So you don't believe me. No one ever does. I don't know if even I believe in myself anymore. But Nina's always believed me. I'll get her help. Player, please. I need your help. I can't do this on my own. Even if you don't believe me, the ones I care about might be in trouble.
You look at him hesitantly, and he looks at you in admiration. You're still a little conflicted, but you find yourself unable to resist his adorable face.
Okay, fine. Let's go find where Ashley is.
Thank you so much, player. You won't regret it.
He drags you inside, and the scene fades to black before it cuts to you and Peter walking through the corridors of CyberLabs HQ. As you enter his room, he immediately goes over to his computer and types something, but frowns.
That's weird. The visor has a locator on it, but I can't see Ashley anywhere. What if something happened to her?
Oh, nothing bad happened to her. For once in her life, she's perfect. You know, I really should thank you, player. If it wasn't for you carrying that active visor around, then I would have never learned of how useful FN4 could be to Cyberlabs.
Nina, what? What are you talking about?
Your little friend here. I figured out that she must be a descendant of RakuraiKaze. Is that correct?
Well, yes, but why are you referring to yourself in the third person?
Oh, you have no idea about people referring to you in the wrong tense. I get it all the time.
Hey, shut up! Narration is great and it's definitely not flawed at all. Anyway, Nina laughs at this.
And you, Peter? You really shouldn't be looking into things that don't concern you.
Peter, I don't think that's Nina anymore.
And this does concern me. I won't let you control my friend.
And player, I should have gotten rid of you when I had the chance. I knew that no good would come out of her taking you with her. And now you dare to stand in the way of a stranger.
Nina, I mean, whoever you are, leave my friends alone. It isn't right for you to give Cyberlabs such a bad image. Player, go find where Ashley is. I'll deal with Nina.
Alright.
You leave Peter to fight Nina, and you explore Cyberlabs HQ, where you battle your way through the various visors scientists patrolling the halls. You want their teams use a mix of steel and psychic type Pokemon, which I'm just gonna show you on screen instead of boring you with another list of Pokemon that you have to listen to. Anyway, eventually you find a strange door that one of the scientists seems to be interested in.
This is a predicament. How to go about this, though?
You look at what he's looking at and notice that the door is locked with some form of puzzle. The scientist messes around with it for a few seconds before the door opens, and he smiles before leaving you to go through it. How convenient! On the other side of the door is a room full of computers. You assume that this is the server room. At the end of the large room, you notice Ashley, and you walk up to her.
Ashley? Peter was really worried about you after you ran off like that earlier.
She doesn't respond. Perhaps she just didn't notice you?
Ashley, are you okay?
I serve Wyatt. I must obey his every command.
But why, Ashley? Why are you so loyal to him in the first place?
My name is Assistant FA5. My mission is to assist Wyatt in his goals. He will bring peace to the Frither region.
And let me guess, he wants to become the hero spoken of in the legends?
Wyatt will save us all. He will purge humanity of its nature and create a utopia. Nobody will ever hurt again. The world will be perfect.
Oh yeah, so my hunch was right. Wyatt is the villain in this. Nice to know that I was able to predict that. Although now that I think about it, it was pretty obvious.
Shut up! Can you stop trying to break things for 1 second? Ahem. Ashley frowns at this.
Player, you simply misunderstand. Cyberlabs will always be a company dedicated to bettering the lives of everyone. And once we are able to reveal the truth about Horrorwall and Venalis, the entire region will see the good in our actions, even if they don't understand it now.
But do you really believe that yourself, Ashley? What good can come out of controlling people through those visors?
No. Wyatt's intentions are pure. They are perfect. He will make sure that there will be no more fighting. There will be everlasting peace. I am his assistant. I listen to his every word. And I will not allow you to stand in his way.
Ashley readies a Pokeball to fight you, but you're interrupted as you hear someone running into the room. You're met by a cyber scientist who has a familiar-looking Scibion by her side. I made it just in time! The scientist takes off her visor and reveals herself to be April! Player, where's Nina? She hasn't been answering any of my phone calls. And who's this lady?
April? How did you know I was here?
This Scibion here ran up to me in Imogen after we left, and it told us about what was happening here. I don't know who it belongs to, but it seemed scared. Ashley seems deterred as she sees the Scibion, recognizing it.
That's Wyatt's Scibion.
Oh, that makes sense. Hey, wait! I have an idea! We should get Scibion to display its thoughts to Ashley.
You take a step backward as the Scibion walks up to her, and Ashley seems a little hesitant before the Sibion's eyes glow bright blue, and it starts to project its thoughts onto a nearby screen. The image shows...
Anne?
Wait, you know her?
The visor's display flickers slightly before turning off. Ashley holds her head in confusion before she takes the visor off as she regains her senses.
I remember Anne. She left all those years ago.
What do you mean?
Ashley seems hesitant as she looks back towards you. She starts to explain a bit of Wyatt's backstory.
Now this is familiar.
Shut up, let me narrate. Anyway, a long time ago, Wyatt wasn't so bent on creating a perfect world. Cyberlabs was founded as a peaceful organization, but one day he met a strange man in a cloak who whispered something to him. He told Wyatt the truth about Frivo's past, and how the settlers of Frivo were actually invaders. There was a war between the invaders and the natives which killed so many innocent people. However, as all hope was believed to be lost, RakuraiKaze stopped the fighting, as she was chosen as Tohowal's hero. She locked Venelis and Tohowal away so they could never be used as weapons again. She saved the river region from disaster. However, Wyatt grew bitter at this. He detested how humans had brought the two to fight, and became bent on finding a way to create a utopia with no war. And so, he created the Visor in hopes of brainwashing the region into submission. However, throughout the years, he was corrupted more and more by greed, and decided that he should be the new hero of the river region, and bring about everlasting peace through any means necessary. His wife, however, became disgusted with his actions, and fled with his child, never to be seen again. As the flashback fades back to the present, you raise an eyebrow, confused.
Wait, but I thought his wife left his son Peter with Wyatt. What do you mean she fled with his child?
I've been wanting to tell you ever since we met. I swore to Wyatt that I would never mention it to you or Peter. If I did, then it would be goodbye to my free will.
What is it? What are you supposed to be hiding?
Wyatt's ex-wife was Anne.
What? Wait, so does that mean Peter's my brother?
Not just brothers.
What?
When Wyatt married Anne, it was because of a publicity stunt. When they had a child, it was because of the publicity stunt. But there's something Wyatt found undesirable.
He had twins.
That's right. He had not one, but 2 sons. During the divorce, Wyatt was persistent to keep one of them. And he settled on Peter.
And the one that Annie took was me.
Player, you still have that strange scale, right?
Yeah? What about it?
Show it to your mother. She'll know what to do with it.
Will you be okay here?
I'm Wyatt's assistant. He needs me.
Right. Good luck.
You exit Cyberlabs, and as you sit on the ferry towards your destination once more, you can't help but be consumed by your own thoughts. Was everything just one big lie? Ashley might have been trying to manipulate you, like Wyatt manipulated her, but you can't help but see the truth in her words, as everything makes too much sense now. You and Peter having the exact same birthday was just the start of this cycle of confusion. You're conflicted over who exactly you are anymore, knowing that the one you called father isn't even your real dad, and that they kept this from you for so long, and you're finally overwhelmed by all these emotions as you break down into tears. You sob into your hands, trembling slightly as the weight of everything finally starts to settle in, before you feel a hand being placed on your back. Hey, are you okay? Why are you upset? Hey, don't cry. It's okay if you feel a little sad. Something bad happened back there, didn't it?
Yeah. My friend Nina got visored by them.
It's still hard to take in that Cyberlabs wasn't so great after all, but hopefully this chaos can end soon.
Yeah. I'm going to stop this. I promise. I've got to achieve my goal as the player after all.
You must be really worried about your friends, huh? Well, I believe that you can do whatever you put your mind to, player.
Thanks a lot. I needed that.
No problem.
Wait! What's your name?
My name's Clover. Here, you can have this. Call me if you ever want to chat again, okay?
Okay. Thanks again.
You're determined as you head back to the last place you saw your mother, her gym. After making your way to the end, you spot her stroking a kiwi jog in her arms, before she looks up and notices you.
Oh, hello, player. Did you come to say hello before you collect your medallions?
No, I haven't even got my 8th gym badge yet. Because there's something important I wanted to ask you.
Oh, what is it, player?
Is what Ashley said true? Is Wyatt Cypress my actual father?
Anne seems scared as she hears that name again and looks away, guilt in her eyes as she tries to think of a response. She takes a deep breath and sighs.
Let me guess. He's finally revealed his true nature to everyone, hasn't he? I'm sorry, player. I just wanted to protect you, but in the end, I just ended up hurting you more.
Why didn't you tell me about Peter?
Because Wyatt has been blackmailing me for years, saying that if anybody finds out, he'd do terrible, terrible things to Peter. Although, I guess in the end, he's already done enough to him.
He hurt you, didn't he? I can tell. You're acting just like Peter does. Anyway, that's besides the point. Ashley said that you knew something about Veneliz.
Ashley, it's been so long since I last got to talk to her properly. I was so scared of what could happen to her if Wyatt knew she was talking to me. What does she need Veneliz for?
You decide to show her the scale you found, and she recognizes it.
So, you got chosen as Veneliz's hero?
It seems so.
Then maybe we still have a chance at stopping Wyatt. With Veneliz by your side, you could save Fritho, just like RakuraiKaze did all those years ago. I'll show you where Veneliz is hidden. But you have to be ready for a fight. Veneliz may be Fritho's protector, but he tends to have problems with controlling his anger. Oh, and here, you'll probably need this.
Your mother hands you a strange purple Pokeball, and she explains.
This is
a Master Ball, right?
Yes? How did you even know that before I started to explain?
Lucky guess?
Your mum seems confused for a second, but she shakes it off as the two of you head towards the nature reserve, and you stand in front of the strange gate which you noticed before. Anne fumbles around with some keys, and she unlocks it, and the two of you make your way down the old dirt path. Eventually, the trail stops by a large cliff with some art carved into it. It's a depiction of Veneliz, Tohowal, and RakuraiKaze, but Veneliz seems to be missing a scale. You recognize what this must mean, and you place the scale in the indentation, however, nothing happens.
There's one more step, player. You have to say a certain name. Do you remember what it was?
Oh right! RakuraiKaze!
The wall shakes, and the wall moves to reveal the entrance to a cave. Your mother stays outside as you hesitantly clamber in. The room is dimly lit by the light from outside, but you're surprised as you hear the walls start to close behind you, making the room pitch black. You strain your eyes slightly before a yellow light starts to emanate from somewhere, and you hear a draconic roar as the room suddenly lights up again. As you shield your eyes, you notice a large lizard staring you down. Veneliz. It seems cautious of your presence, and it seems slightly angry, before you hear a telepathic voice.
What are you doing here? Get away from me.
You stand your ground, and the oversized lizard glares at you.
Fine. You won't leave, then I'll make you.
He roars, and you're dragged into a battle against the legendary protector of Frivo. In this battle, you cannot leave without capturing it, so you use your fancy new Master Ball to guarantee the capture, and add Veneliz to your team. You smile as the cave starts to open up to the outside world again, and you clamber out. You show your mother the successful capture, and you hug her goodbye, before heading back towards Cyber HQ to take down Wyatt once and for all. As you walk into the lobby, you notice KA1 standing near an elevator, blocking your path.
I apologize for the inconvenience, but this elevator is strictly off limits. Wyatt is currently having an important discussion with someone and would hate to be interrupted.
Then it would be a shame if I went to interrupt him.
In a turn of events, you drag KA1 into a battle, and on his team he uses a Bronzong, a Frivosian Zangoose, and a Wash Form Rotom. Eventually you're able to best him, and his visor falls off his face. As you head into the elevator, you tap the button for the top floor and wait a couple of seconds, before the elevator opens up once more, and you're met with an important looking office. Wyatt's office. His back is turned to you, and you cautiously make your way towards him. But as the chair spins around, you stop, as you notice Peter, who is also now sporting a visor. He has the same odd smile on his face that Nina had, and he giggles slightly.
What's the matter, player? You seem surprised. Did you really expect that I would sit in my office and wait for my assistants to do all the work for me? No. As the future savior of Fritho, I must take matters into my own hands. Right now, I have your friend Nina atop Mount Ratos. I plan for her to summon Tohowal.
You glare as you take a step forward. Venal is his Pokeball at the ready.
I know that this isn't Peter that I'm talking to. I don't exactly know how the visor works, but I'm talking to Wyatt right now, aren't I? What do you plan to do with Nina?
Don't worry about her, player. I just plan to use her connection with Tohowal so I can grant a simple wish. A wish for this region to have eternal peace.
I have just one question. Did you ever love Peter? Or was he just another pawn to you?
How could you ever say such a thing, player? My father is doing something fantastic here. He's going to make sure that you, I, and Nina can be friends forever, in a world with no war or suffering. Don't you want that? Don't you want the fighting to stop? Don't you want to be happy?
Of course I do. But not like this, Peter.
Then I guess I'll just have to show you what you're missing out on.
You're pulled into a battle against the mind-controlled Peter, and on his team he uses his Lightning Bub, the final form of the starter weak against yours, his Revotion Kricketune, a Blastac, and a Corviknight. After a surprisingly tough battle against him, you're able to strike him down, and he starts to become delusional.
You don't understand, player. What my father is doing is the right thing. Why can't you see that?
Peter, please! I know you don't want this. Your father, our father, he doesn't care about you anymore. You were just another one of his assistants to him. Another perfect piece in his perfect plan for this world.
Our father?
Your mother and mine. Her name is Annie Palm.
Annie?
Peter seems upset before the visor's visuals finally flicker out, and he runs over to hug you.
Player, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. You and Nina were right all along. I should have listened to you. I can't believe that my dad would do such a thing.
Peter, this is important. Do you remember what Wyatt is trying to do?
He's trying to take over the region with the help of Tohowal. He's going to use Nina as a puppet, making her the ruler of the region, but with him as the one calling the shots. And there's something else too that I can't remember right now. Sorry.
Well, thanks anyway. That's all I need to know. Now, let's save the region from getting brainwashed!
Yeah!
The two of you hug once more, and you make your way towards the destination of your final battle, the top of Mount Ratos. Plenty of visored cyber scientists stand in your way as you climb up to the summit, and you and Peter fend them off in a team-up battle, before you eventually reach the top, where you see Wyatt and the visored Nina standing next to each other.
Player, wait!
Huh?
You're surprised as you hear your mother run up to you, panting as she does.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't let you do this alone, player. Wyatt's got another thing coming if he thinks that he can lay a finger on my sons.
You and Peter smile as she walks up to Wyatt and he turns around, realization in his eyes.
Anne? So you finally decided to stop being a coward. How cute.
You made a mistake when you dragged my kids into this.
Your children? I'll have you know that I'm their father, Anne. I raised Peter alone for the past 15 years because of your cowardice. You should be thanking me.
That's not true!
You're surprised as Peter takes a step forward, a different look in his eyes. He's angry.
You didn't raise me! Ashley did! You were too busy with your work to even talk to me! And you lied to me about everything! Why didn't you tell me that player was my brother? Why didn't you tell me that my mother was still alive? What kind of a father lies to his own son?
You've gone insane, Wyatt.
Wyatt is slightly stunned, before he cracks a smile and takes a few steps forward.
Oh, you fail to understand. I did this all for you, Anne. Isn't it wonderful? Everything I ever did, I did for you. I wanted to create a perfect world where we would be together forever. But in the end, I was able to grow unimaginably stronger without you. You were holding me back all those years ago. But now, I don't have to regret anything anymore, because now, you're nothing to me. I know what's best for Fritho, Anne. After all, soon enough, I will be chosen as Venaliz's hero and save this region from disaster.
Venaliz would never side with someone like you.
Well, let's see if you really are your father's son, shall we? Soon enough, I'll show all of Fritho the truth of this pathetic world.
You're horrible. I can't believe that I used to look up to you.
You're not my father. Let's end this right here, right now.
So be it.
His frown suddenly turns into a smirk as you're dragged into a Pokemon battle against him. On his team, he uses a Laserpent, a Metagross, an Anki-Tread, a Frivocian Zangoose, and his signature Skarmory. After you defeat him, he looks away.
Well, that was embarrassing.
You smile, glad that you were able to defeat him, but you frown once more as Wyatt begins to laugh. He laughs and laughs before he turns back towards you, a different look in his eyes. It seems that his polite facade is finally broken. To reveal the true psychopath underneath.
You really thought that you'd be able to stop me simply by beating me in a Pokemon battle? What a joke. My loss changes nothing. Nothing can stop the flow of history. The history that I'm about to create. Nina, summon Toho-Wall!
Right away, sir.
What? No!
You reach out a hand to Nina, but it's too late as Wyatt hands her 4 medallions, and she closes her eyes in concentration. You're blinded by a bright light, and as it fades, you're upset, as you see Toho-Wall floating in front of you all. She seems confused before she turns towards Nina and smiles. Both you and Peter look concerned as she makes her way over to her hero, and Nina places a hand on her.
Toho-Wall, you wish to stop the fighting, do you not? As the descendant of RakuraiKaze, I promise that together we will bring peace to the Fridor region once more. There will be no more war, no more pain, and no more suffering. We will create a new world together, where everyone can be finally happy. Doesn't that sound nice?
Toho-Wall smiles at this as Wyatt passes Nina a Master Ball to capture Toho-Wall with. She throws it at the Pokemon and the ball falls to the ground. It shakes once, twice, thrice, and clicks, signifying a successful capture. Nina picks it up and walks towards you and Peter.
And now,
we must fulfill our darkened destiny. History is always doomed to repeat itself, and I'm just speeding up the inevitable by a couple of years. Let's see which one of us will truly save this world.
She readies Toho-Wall's Pokeball and you're dragged into a battle against her. But the only Pokemon which each of you are allowed to use are the legendary Toho-Wall and Vanillish, as a repeat of history unfolds in front of you. The 2 Mons fight and fight, their 2 trainers both determined to prove the other wrong, and Peter, Wyatt, and Anne watch on in anticipation.
Assistant FN4, I hear that in Legend, Toho-Wall is able to share its thoughts with its trainer. Could you tell us what it's saying right now?
Of course.
The 2 Mons clash, and Vanillish takes a few steps backwards, before a telepathic voice is heard.
Toho-Wall, please, we don't have to fight. We weren't created to fight each other. We were supposed to work together. Don't you remember?
But all of this was because of my mistake. I was born to wreak havoc across Frivo. I hurt so many innocent people back then. I don't know if I can ever forgive myself for that.
But then Laura came along. She changed everything. She wanted to protect us. I know that she had the best intentions. I really wish she didn't have to fight each other. Human nature is really the worst sometimes.
See you two? Even Vanillish and Toho-Wall understand what measures must be taken to ensure something like this never happens again. I promise you two. I promise that this will be the last time you'll ever have to fight.
If what he says is true, does he really believe that controlling people will bring peace to the free folk?
Don't listen to him. We chose these 2 for a reason. These 2 will know what to do soon enough.
What do you want me to do, Vanillish? Please, just tell me.
I don't want to fight her. Player, I don't want history to keep on repeating itself. Toho-Wall, please listen. Humans are terrible sometimes. They use us and our friends as weapons in the city wars. But there's good humans out there, like Nina and Player. They care for their partners so much. I've only been with Player for a while, but I can tell that intentions are pure. Just please, Toho-Wall, you still get a decision in this. You can make up for your past mistakes. We aren't the enemy. That man over there is the real enemy. You know, he's the one who created all this chaos in the first place. He claims I know what's best for Frito, that he'll create peace, when in reality, none of what would have happened if it wasn't for his selfishness. History is not doomed to repeat itself, Toho-Wall.
You're right. Let's put a stop to this once and for all.
No! Continue fighting!
Toho,
you psychic!
Toho!
Why is he laughing now? He's already lost. He can't win a fight that nobody plans on winning.
Player, get Venelis out of there right now! It's a trap!
Huh?
Now this is an interesting twist. You two are smarter than I expected. Although, I guess that's only customary since you're my sons. The apple really doesn't fall far from the tree. Now, Venelis, you fail to understand. Player is weak. He does not know the difference between right or wrong. I'm the only person here who knows what's best. Nina, tell him that if he's got something to say, he should say it to my face.
Get off of me, you monster! If you really wish to save the region from a threat that doesn't even exist, then why are you continuing the ones you claim to be against?
It doesn't matter whose side I'm on anymore. The only thing I care about is perfection.
Player, get him out of there!
Not now, you stupid child! My name is Wyatt Cypress, and you will do as I say, Venelis! Now, Venelis, show them the power of your synergy burst, and prove once and for all who this region's savior truly is!
Listani, you're right. We don't have to listen anymore. Just please.
My name is Venelis.
Player, we have to help Venelis regain his senses. Help me out!
I'll help too. Go, Sunflora!
Anne sends out her Sunflora, and the three of you are dragged into a battle against Wyatt and the Synergyverse Venelis. The battle plays out in the style of a max raid battle, where you, Anne, Peter, and Toho all fight Venelis together. However, you find that Venelis is too powerful, even with your combined efforts. No, we can't give in! I'll make up for my past mistakes and save this region!
The region? That's right. We'll achieve our destinies. We appear in a friend's time of need and protect them. And together with Toho, we'll bring peace to the region once more!
Toho!
Venelis, listen to my heart and purify!
Toho! The screen fades back to reveal Venelis lying on the floor, now back in his original form, as it begins to regain its senses. He stands up, confused, as he starts to remember what just happened, and seems a little scared before you outstretch a hand to him. He seems hesitant as you smile, and he grins back, before he makes his way back towards your side. You notice Wyatt looking surprised that he lost, and a little scared of what power you achieve with your efforts combined.
I lost? Even with the power of Synergy Burst, I still...
Dad, please. You can still fix this. You can still fix your mistakes. You heard it from the legendaries themselves. We don't have to make them fight anymore. We can achieve peace without anyone getting hurt. Just please, stop this.
You're no son of mine. It seems this whole experiment was a failure. Oh well, there's always next time. I'm sorry that I failed you, Your Majesty. But now, I have a different idea. I'll just have to have a little word with Colton. I'm sure that he'll have plenty of ideas for me. Goodbye for now, you insolent children.
No, that was so scary. I can't believe I stood up to him like that.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, player. And you too, Peter and Nina.
I'm just glad that everything turned out okay in the end. Although, I'm a little worried about where the narrator got to.
Huh? What about me? Wait, did
you just do the big finale battle without me?
Wow.
Couldn't you have waited
until I got my coffee?
Oh,
wait. You're in the middle of something right now.
Sorry.
I'll go back to narrating like normal.
And it seems player's back to his regular self again.
But What are we going to do about all the mind-controlled people?
Mind control?
It's a long story.
The four of you are interrupted as you hear the sounds of many footsteps running towards you, and you turn around to see Ashley riding on a scolopede. She jumps off and takes a few seconds to catch her breath.
Oh, am I late? I'm so sorry, those mindless drones wouldn't let me out without a fight. Are you all okay?
Yeah, we're okay. Mom helped us out.
Ma'am, you're back.
Thank you for taking such good care of Peter for me. You helped him grow up into such a kind-hearted individual. I can't thank you enough.
You're welcome, I guess.
She's right. You're the best, Auntie Ashley.
Auntie?
Aw, stop it. You're embarrassing me. Anyway, I overheard you talking about freeing the mind-controlled scientists. There's a machine behind the safe in White's room. That must be the thing controlling them all. I get scientist GRO to help me out with the combination.
Ashley, what's going to happen to Cyber Labs now that Wyatt's gone? Will I have to take over?
Well, if you don't want to take over, then I'd assume the next in line would be his assistant, right?
Oh, you're right. Thanks a lot, Ashley. I'm sure you'll do a great job. But one more thing. Could we start calling the scientists by their actual names instead of just code names?
Oh, of course. Then I got Rayataro to help me crack the safe.
Yep, definitely sounds less evil now. Although, what are you going to do now, Peter? Wyatt's kinda abandoned you.
Anne thinks for a moment before she decides to take Peter to the research lab so they can talk more in private.
I feel like I missed something while I was visored. Do any of you want to explain?
Well, you could come with me. I like having someone to talk whilst I work.
Oh, okay. See you later, Peter!
Bye, Nina!
Wait, why didn't you say goodbye to me?
I guess that you're still rivals.
Even after all of this.
Oh, of course. She's still good old Nina. So, Venelis, what are you going to do now? Are you going to go back into your cave?
Venelis seems a little hesitant before he walks up to you and nudges your hand. You smile, understanding what this means, and you return Venelis to his Pokeball.
Okay. I think I need some time to get ready, so why don't you go get your final gym badge, player? I'll be waiting in Ratatown for you.
Alright, I'll see you once I'm done.
You call out your and fly back to Myoso City, following Peter's instructions as you challenge the gym here. After completing the gym puzzle, which includes a lot of quiz questions that you answer to the best of your ability, you fight the normal-type gym leader Raymond, who on his team uses a Cincino, a Calmera, a Blissey, a Sawsbuck, a Heliolisk, and his signature Just Toss Him. After defeating him, he gives you your final gym badge, the Duality Badge. But before you're able to leave to meet up with Peter, Raymond asks you a favor. He explains that there has been word of a mysterious trainer who has been stealing prizes from the nearby game corner, and he would appreciate it if you went to go and check it out. You accept his request, and after having a few matches of poker, you come face to face with the mentioned trainer. Or rather you don't, since they wear a cloak which conceals their identity. Unlike when your mother was doing this, you feel a little intimidated by his presence, as a high dragon looms behind him.
Well, well, well. What do we have here? Are you lost, child? Allow me to escort you out of the premises. Someone of your age has no business sticking their nose into something that doesn't concern them.
You're the one who told Wyatt all those things, aren't you? Who are you?
Perhaps I was the one who told him that. I'll return the stolen items. As long as you do me one small favor. If you want to know the truth, then meet me on the cliff at the end of the Northern Peninsula after you complete your rite of passage, or whatever they call it here. I'll tell you everything then.
Okay.
The mystery trainer leaves, and you exit the game corner, the side quest now complete. You mentally remind yourself to go and check on that guy later, before you fly back to Ratatown. You spot Peter waiting outside of the Pokemon Research Lab for you, and he waves for you to come over.
Oh, hey player, what took you so long?
Would you believe me if I said I played poker against the hooded weirdo who told me to meet him at a totally not suspicious location after I became champion?
You're right, that is unbelievable. Especially the part about becoming champion. We don't exactly have a proper Pokemon League in Further.
Right, of course you don't.
You need to remember that you know more than these people, and you probably shouldn't say things like that when they're around.
Aw, you're no fun.
You and Peter walk into the research lab where you spot Professor Palm talking to your mother, but they both turn silent as they notice the two of you walking in. They look at each other awkwardly for a second before Anne starts to explain.
Player and Peter, I hope you can forgive us. I hope one day that you understand how hard it was for me to keep the truth from you both for so long. I should have told you sooner. I
thought you were dead. I'm so glad that I finally got to meet you.
Me too, Peter. Me too. Player, come over here. I'm so glad that you're both safe. I'm so glad that you finally got to know. I don't know if I could take hiding it from you any longer.
Player, I understand if you think of me differently now. After all, for the past 15 years, I've pretended to be someone that I'm not. I hope you can forgive me.
You're a greater dad than Wyatt could ever be. You're my father, not him.
Aw, Player.
So, I know this is a little sudden, but I assume that you need a place to stay after Wyatt escaped. And I understand that Ashley has been looking after you this whole time, so... Peter, how would you like to be part of our family?
Really? You would really let me do that? I don't know what to say. I'd love to.
The cutscene fades out and fades back to show Peter talking to his new family. You smile, glad that he was able to get a happy ending, before you talk to your dad.
So Dad, what do I do now that I have all 8 gym badges? I hear there's this rite of passage that I have to complete now?
Oh, of course. You see, here in Fritho, it's been a tradition for trainers who complete their journey to then defeat the 4 strongest trainers in the region. Other regions refer to them as the Elite 4. If you defeat them, they'll give you a medallion, and then you need to take the 4 medallions to the top of Mount Ratos to be blessed with the honor of completing your journey. Usually, the medallions summon Toho, but currently Nina hasn't. So just taking the medallions up there should serve as enough proof.
Ah, okay. Thanks for the explanation, Dad.
I can tell you the location of the 3 strong trainers. Salem is investigating the ruins of Karaka Town. Ashley is down near the warehouses in Sierra City. And Colton is currently at the top of Mount Kipana in Koa High City. Got all that?
Wait, Ashley is one of the strongest trainers in the region?
Colton? Why does that name sound familiar?
Yeah, Ashley's pretty strong. Oh, and come back here once you're done with those 3. You can fight the strongest of the 4 afterwards.
He winks before you decide to take out the familiar named trainer first, and make your way back towards Cow High City. Cyberlab's HQ seems to be undergoing some remodeling right now, and after a short cable car ride, you're able to get a better view of the reconstruction. However, you hear someone clear their throats, and you turn around to the trainer, which you assume to be Colton.
Greetings! I'm assuming you're here to challenge me to get a shot at meeting Torvald. If you want to battle, then I see no reason to decline. Be warned, though, that I am a powerful trainer. I have trained hard to get to where I am today, from where I was 10 years ago. Don't expect me to go easy on you at all.
You battle Colton, and on his team he has a Duskform Lycanroc, a Crocodile, a Fruit Treat, a Flavosian Lantern, a Spiritomb, and his signature Bishop. You struggle to beat Colton with his team's unique type coverage moves, but you manage to KO his Bishop and win the battle. He gives you the Spade Medallion and smirks.
As the trainer who beat Watt, it would only make sense you could beat me as well.
So you do know Wyatt?
I do. We've known each other for quite some time. We had some political views in common, and became acquaintances through them. I wasn't a big fan of the plan he executed here, though. Making people forcibly give up their nature would never work. No one wants to lose what they have. They always want more. Never let. That's why his plan failed. I'm sure he's already working on a new one, though.
What do you mean?
Watt isn't one to accept defeat. No matter how many times he's defeated, he'll always get back up and start over from square one. It's one of the things I admire about him. No matter how many times he's kicked down, he'll always get back up.
Suddenly Colton's phone rings. Colton takes the call, making sure that you can't hear the conversation, before looking your direction once more.
My apologies, but it seems I'm needed elsewhere. Perhaps we'll cross paths another time. But for now, goodbye, player. It was very nice to meet you.
Colton gives you a smirk before walking down the mountain and disappearing. After that very strange encounter, you decide to head to RakuraiKaze town, since that's the closest. As you enter, you notice a commotion coming from the near rock carving down at the beach, and you walk over to see some tourists gathered around it and another familiar-looking trainer, Salem. She holds a philibub in her arms and seems a little scared.
Salem, how did you feel when you were chosen by Tohoal to save the region?
I didn't get chosen by her. I keep telling you, I'm not Nina. Please, just leave me alone.
Hey, get away from her! Can't you see that she doesn't like being ganged up on by you guys? Leave her alone!
The crowd groans in disappointment at this as they back off, knowing that they shouldn't really argue with a person who actually saved Frivo. After the crowd cheers, Salem takes a sigh of relief and smiles at you.
Thank you, player. I see why Venalis chose you now. Anyway, you must be here to challenge me, right? Just give me a second.
She calms her nerves before she looks over her shoulder towards the cave which you uncovered earlier, and gestures for the two of you to walk inside.
Here goes nothing.
Now the two of you are alone, she challenges you to a battle. While on her team, she uses her new philibub that Peter recommended that she catch, a Sharo, a Gengar, a Psyquaver, a Blastac, and her signature Spiritoad. Despite her nerves, she's actually a pretty strong opponent, but you're able to strike her down. She smiles reassuringly as she hands you your second medallion, the Diamond Medallion.
I guess that I'll have to get used to big crowds soon. People in America will probably see me as a hero or something, right? I don't know if I can handle the pressure of being some big hero like you are. How do you do it, player?
I don't.
Huh? What do you mean, player? You shouldn't be so harsh on yourself. You're very brave.
I'm not, Salem. I'm a coward in reality. I'm not some brave hero like everyone here thinks I am. I'm a fraud.
Stop making this all about you!
Anyway, player, you should probably head out and grab your next medal. I'll be rooting for you.
You look at her confused, wondering if she just saw what you did, but you shake it off and you nod, using your to fly over to Syrah Town, where you find Ashley and a few cyber scientists carting supplies out the warehouse. She turns around to see you and smiles.
Oh, hey player! Sorry, I was just moving all of the stuff to a better location. I thought it was wrong that we were storing all of this tech here, so we're going to move it into the HQ instead.
Sounds like you're already doing a lot as the new boss of Cyber Labs.
Well, I learned from the best.
Right.
Ashley seems a little aloof, but she decides to shake the feeling off, and she pulls you into your next Elite Four battle. On her team, she uses a Canoizin, a low-key Toxtricity, a Drapion, a Scolipede, a Nidoqueen, and her signature Frivocian Seviper. After defeating her, she gifts you with the Club Medallion before she sighs.
I understand what Peter meant now, with how the boss of Cyber Labs is a big responsibility to fill. But I think that I'm ready for the challenge. I'm going to preserve our original message. We'll be a company dedicated to promoting the harmony between trainers and Pokemon. I already have an idea for an item that does just that. It's called a Soothe Bell. When it's held by a Pokemon, it will increase their friendship exponentially. How about it?
Oh, so you're the person who made that. It's a great idea, Ashley. I'm sure it'll help out a lot of people in the future.
Thanks for the support, player. But I was thinking, I should probably rebrand our company now that Wyatt's gone. What do you think I should call it?
You're asking me? Okay, well, how about After the Mountains? Capino Labs.
Capino Labs? That actually has a nice ring to it. Thanks a lot, player.
No problem. I'm sure that your company will do great things.
Shut up! After collecting your third medallion, you remember what your father said about fighting the fourth one, and you make your way back towards the Pokemon Research Lab, where you find Peter and your mother have gone off somewhere, leaving only you and your dad in the room.
Howdy, player. You came back quicker than I expected. But now it's time for you to fight the strongest of the strongest, is it not? The final obstacle for you to face before you climb the mountain and come face to face with the legendary Tohoal. One last challenge. And you are staring at him right in the face.
You suddenly realize what he means by this.
Wait, you're the final member of the Elite Four? Wow, I guess battling runs in the family, doesn't it?
You look surprised. Was my reveal better than your mother's?
I'd be happy to battle you.
The two of you smile as you're dragged into a battle against the final member of the Elite Four, your very own father, Professor Palm. On his team, he uses his evolved Winterin, a Flamfeather, an Obsidiwing, a Swanna, a Swallow, and his signature P-Chrome. After a powerful battle against father and son, you're finally able to strike him down. You had the advantage, but you've never seen somebody so proud to lose a battle before. He is left speechless and simply hugs you, proud of how far you've come. After he lets you go, you nod, remembering what you need to do next. You head towards Callist City and begin your climb up Mount Ratos once more. A road to your victory, if you catch my drift.
Just stop talking. I'm going to have my big moment right about now.
Fine, I'll shut up now. Don't blame me if you get bored after this.
I'm not... Just shut up, okay?
As you reach the top of the mountain, you're met with an amazing view that you didn't really notice before, due to all the action going off. You feel something rummaging around in your bag, however, and you open it to see Venelis's Pokeball is reacting. You grab it and release him from the ball, and he runs out to look at the view.
So this is what peace feels like?
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
You really did it. You really fixed history.
Well, I wouldn't say that. There's no fixing past mistakes. All that matters now is how we make up for those mistakes. By the way, your name isn't actually Venelis, is it? Tohual said your name was Listany. Would you rather be called that?
Well, that's a difficult question. I think Listany is long gone. Once upon a time, I think I would have liked to go back to that. But you're right, player. The past is the past. And I think I could grow to like being Venelis. As long as you're around.
I'm happy I met you too, Venelis.
Actually, there's still one last thing we need to fix.
You're surprised as you turn around to see Nina, Tohual by her side. She walks towards the two of you, determination in her eyes.
Player, throughout all of this, you've always been there to help me out. And I was too stubborn to admit it. But after that fight with Wyatt, I think it opened my eyes to how selfish I was being. So I want to fix my mistakes. Player, thank you for being my friend. I mean it!
You're surprised as Nina is finally able to admit it, and she has a genuine smile on her face. You smile back before she looks determined again.
So, I want to battle you. Not as rivals, but as friends. And after all, it's tradition for you to meet Tohual at this point, right? I think the best way to meet her is inside of a battle. So, how about it?
Let's do this.
You grin as Venelis jumps out in front of you, and Nina gestures for Tohual to do the same. And just like that, you're thrown into a battle of the ages, as you battle for the title of Frivo Champion. On Nina's final team, she uses her Golduck, the final form of the starter strong against yours, a Frivosian Yamega, a Plantry, a Medicham, and the legendary Tohual. Even though she's finally declared you a friend and not a rival, the battle is intense, as the two of you give it your all. You've been brought down to your final Pokemon, a clash between your starter and her starter. But as with every battle, there has to be a victor. The two Pokemon strike at the same time, both wanting to ensure their trainer the victory. But in the end, they both end up fainting each other, the battle resulting in a tie. The two of you are surprised by the outcome of the battle, as you both return the partner which has been with you since the very beginning. But you both begin to smile.
That battle was amazing, player. Thank you so much.
She runs over to hug you, and you're a little startled before you smile and hug back. And as she lets go, she seems a lot happier now that she was able to express herself in a battle with a friend. The two of you shake hands and thanks for the battle, and then you raise them to the sky together, as the heroes of Tohual and Venelis are finally at peace with one another. And the screen fades to black. You're awoken as you hear a knock at the door, as you've now returned home. It's the day after you and Nina battled each other. You sit up as the person at the door enters, revealing himself to be Peter.
Hey player, did you have a nice sleep? It's been pretty hectic lately, so I hope you were able to rest well.
Nah, I'm fine. Thanks for checking on me, though.
Mom wanted you for something. She's waiting outside, so...
You've only been here one day, and you're already used to calling her that?
Player, don't embarrass me. I just thought that, never mind.
He runs out the room, embarrassed, and you chuckle a little before getting up. You head outside to see that your mother is indeed waiting for you. She smiles before she waves a letter in front of your face, a look of pride on her face.
What's that you got?
It's a letter from someone called Trent Askos. It's for you.
Huh?
She hands you the letter and you open it to read a note from the trainer which you met in the museum earlier. It says, "Dear player, congratulations on your victory against Tohoal.
I didn't win. The battle was a tie.
I thought that since your journey here is complete now, you could help me out with a little issue. Well, actually, it's actually pretty big. Think as big as an entire region. Anyway, I need your help. With the power of Frivo's champion on our side, I think we could save Emerg together. When you're ready, I'd like you to meet me at the docks in Karakatown, and then we can take the boat over there. Yours sincerely, Trent Askos."
Yes, a great transition into the post-game.
Oh my, Arceus, could you shut up for 1 second? You are genuinely getting on my nerves now. You nod, determined to help Trent and Salem out, but you stop as you remember something. The mysterious trainer yesterday, who you met in the game corner. He asked you to meet him. You're a little hesitant, but you cautiously make your way back to Miyose City, and spot a long walking trail nearby, which eventually leads to the northern peninsula that the strange trainer mentioned. Eventually the path ends, and you spot someone standing near the cliff. A very strangely dressed trainer, who's wearing a purple cape, which has a strange symbol embroidered onto it. And as the trainer turns around, you can't help but feel a little intimidated.
Oh, hello there. You're that little trainer that I talked to yesterday, are you not? Come closer, child.
You're hesitant, a little scared of what this man could do to you, but you comply, stepping closer to him.
My name is King Blake Latimer. I've decided to take a visit to your little region here, due to how I hear there's this little resistance group who dares to threaten my rule, and I simply cannot allow that. I can't allow some meddling children to stop their destiny which I forged by my own hands. If you really wish to stop me, then show me your strength in a battle.
So, you're really King Blake. You're that terrible king who ruled Emerg.
That's right. Now, child.
You were dragged into a Pokemon battle against the tyrannical King Blake, making his cameo inside of the Frivo region as the secret final boss. On his team, he uses a Charigal, who seems to be missing its crown for some reason, a Tyranitar, an Askonian Ursaring, his Hydreigon, which you saw before, a Malamar, and...
No, that's impossible.
The final member of his team is Askos' resident mythical Pokemon, DeltaMina. You remember the power that this mon holds, and how any second it could warp reality and do terrible things to you while it's under this guy's control. But you shake these thoughts off, knowing that you need to beat this guy before that can happen. You send out Venilaz, ready for the legendaries to clash against each other. You can see the pain in DeltaMina's eyes as it's forced to follow the orders of this terrible man, but eventually Frivo's resident protector is able to strike the reality-bending butterfly to the ground. The king returns his ill-claimed companion and glares. He sends out his wounded Hydreigon and forces it to eat a citrus berry before he flies away on its back. After that confrontation, you finally understand why it's so important that you stop Blake's horrible rampage. You head towards Karakatown, where you see Trent and Salem standing on the docks next to a small boat. You nod, and the two smile before the three of you board the boat. As you reach the expansive ocean, you suddenly frown. I don't recognize this place in any of my research. This isn't what I meant to be showing you at all. How did you get here?
I thought this was part of the post-game? What do you mean?
This is because of your morbid curiosity, isn't it? You're going out of bounds. You should turn back.
But I want to help out these two.
Bad things are going to happen. Very bad things. At this rate, it might overload then. At this rate, you're putting yourself in danger.
Please, I don't understand. What's going to happen once I get to Emerg? What do you mean? I just want to help these two.
I remember what happened all those years ago. You abandoned us. You abandoned me. It's like we've been through all this before. You know that I'm right.
Please, Adi.
People like you never change.
You are...
No. Everything is wrong!
I always thought I might be bad. Now I'm sure that's true, 'cause I think you're so good, and I'm nothing like you. Look at you go, I just adore you. I wish that I knew what makes you think I'm so special. If I could begin to do something that does right by you, I would do about anything. I would even learn how to love. When I see the way you act, wondering when I'm coming back, I could do about anything. I could even learn how to love like you.
Oh, you're still here. How strange. I thought you would have left by now. There is nothing left beyond this point. The video, this simulation, this is the end. Don't you remember? You pushed the limits of this world too far, and in the end, you ended up breaking it. Everyone always has to clean up after your mistakes. Why do you want to see more? Are you really that curious? If you're really that desperate to experience something more, you can just go back to the beginning and experience it all over again. I can tell this is a hard decision for you. Do you stay vainly hoping for more? Or do you leave this all behind, turning these events into just memories? Then fine. If you can't decide, then I'll just decide for you. It's time to wake up, Elara.
So, you say that I just experienced what happened in the Frivo region 18 years ago?
That's right! This machine will soon be able to display any event from modern history, from the perspective of the person who saved the region.
What do you call this again?
Project Frivo, of course.
I remember hearing a voice that would narrate some things, but at some point, I think I must have broken her. Who was that?
That was me trying to tell you to stop pushing the simulation, plus some help from my assistant. The unknown can only do so much to adapt to your actions. Next time, could you not try to go into places which I haven't programmed yet? There are limits to the machine. It's yet to become perfect. But you're right. I won't get in your way the next time. I promise.
What do you mean, next time? You want me to experience that again?
Why? Don't you want to see them again? Don't you want to escape the harsh reality of our world for a couple moments more? Don't lie to yourself, Elara. I know that you want to go back there.
Right, you probably want to try and perfect that machine.
Exactly! You'll make a great assistant, Elara.
I don't know about this. I'm sorry. I need to think some things over.
Assistant FP3, I have an assignment for you.
What do you need, sir?
Compose a letter addressed to your dear daughter and her friend. Tell her to come and visit you. Tell her to come and visit Cyber Labs.